Hello everyone, my name is Kelsy and welcome to LDR. Our co-hosts today are Andy and Charlie, like usual. How's it going, guys?
It's going good.
It's good.
Good. So, we're going to get into some deep conversations in our 2-hour-ish podcasty type deal. So, why don't you guys start it off for me?
Charlie?
Oh man, putting me on the spot.
Charlie?
Oh my
Yep.
god.
You're the guy who came here with papers.
Yep.
And by came
Alright,
here, I
so-
meant went to your house and then turned on
Yeah,
Skype.
because like last podcast, it was super science-y and I enjoyed it a lot, so I'm going to try to ask more questions. But
Okay, very good.
Because I'm an idiot
I will
and-
start with a light topic then.
there we go.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah, let's not
tomorrow-
get straight into the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yeah, let's start with like the Cuban Missile problem,
Right.
and then
So-
we can
Not
move.
quite the crisis.
We can work up to the crisis.
We'll go from code blue to orange.
Sure,
Whatever that means.
That-
that's
don't
how that
exist.
works.
My mom's actually a nurse and she said those colors change from hospital to hospital as to what they mean.
Really?
Yeah.
What the fuck's the point of that then?
Are those the things like beside the doors? And they're like, if it's a code blue, there's an attacker in the hospital.
Yeah,
And if it's
because
a
like
code orange,
there's a it's the VA hospital here in
There's
like
an attacker?
Montgomery County.
Sorry,
like
what a weird
like
phrase.
a shooter.
Okay.
Like a shooter is what I meant. An attacker.
There's a defender in the
I don't-
hospital.
I don't think there's a code for an attacker in the hospital.
attacker. That sounds kind of odd.
Sounds like a
Yeah,
role
I know at
that
the,
you would fill.
Was it the Walter Reed Hospital where the president goes? There's like a specific code if something's fucked up with him.
Because like most schools around here all have like the same thing.
If it's jaundice, that's a yellow tag. Hypothermia, that's a blue tag. If he's bleeding internally, that's a red tag. Let's follow the system
Black
here,
is
people.
dead.
Thank
Black
you,
is
Dr.
dead.
Andy.
White is alive.
Oh, you're just the plethora of knowledge.
You are. Shut
So
up.
we're gonna get into something topical and science.
Yeah, you gonna do something? Or you're just gonna sit
Yeah, I
around.
Come on,
was going
inject
to,
it,
and then
Charlie.
someone, a little interrupted or whatever. Okay.
No, you interrupted yourself. You said, "Let me get to that," but also my mom has a job.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. Whatever you say.
We're not
That's
trying to
that's
make
what you
tangents
said.
of
That's
bad
the point.
Tangents
All
are
right.
good.
So in about, I think, 12 hours or less from now, this is 7 o'clock Eastern on January 5th. Tomorrow, SpaceX is
Don't
launching.
say the time.
Wow,
Go
you
ahead,
said
go
that,
ahead.
and I immediately got more afraid. You could have said the most banal shit, but I immediately got more afraid as you started naming like the exact moment in time we were at.
Yeah, like somehow people could know where you are and
No,
come murder
just
you or
like-
something.
Well, because when people talk about horrible shit that went down, they're always like, December 24th, 2014,
The Japs
9:47
attacked us.
a.m. The pigs escaped from the petting zoo.
They quickly evolved into
Many truffles were
sharks.
found.
Quickly evolved into human pigs, which are virtually indistinguishable from people humans.
People pigs.
Every
Yeah, people
episode of
pigs.
this is just going to be a Twilight Zone reference.
That's I was working up to that.
Yep.
There's someone
Humans will
waiting,
become obsolete.
something.
Yeah.
All right, but
Okay, go
yes.
ahead with the.
Okay, so SpaceX is launching a resupply mission to the International Space Station, which in and of itself is nothing special. They do that all the time now.
Right.
But tomorrow they are going to have the first serious attempt at recovering the first stage of their rocket. Usually in a rocket launch, the first stage is just completely lost. It just breaks up.
That's the
when
thing
it
that
returns
breaks
to
off
Earth.
in the atmosphere and it disintegrates.
Yeah, like the space shuttle was reusable, but that big old green fuel tank was always lost during
Right.
the launch.
Okay.
Orange. I think you mean orange.
Is it orange? Okay. Colorblind.
Get you
No,
oh,
yeah,
damn it!
it's-
I was about to
to
make fun of
me,
you until I remembered that were colorblind.
The relative color in my eye is orange, but
Okay,
you know,
it might
green,
be orange.
blue.
I think it is orange.
the
actually.
big fuel tank that's attached to it. They drop it off because it's like unnecessary weight.
Oh yeah, once it runs out of fuel, it's just dead weight at that point.
Right.
So
Yes.
what they are going to do is this rocket, this first stage, once it detaches, is going to detach without running completely out of fuel first, because that's how it's going to slow itself down. So over the Atlantic, it's going to fire retro rockets, which is what you do to slow down.
Right.
And then it's going to try and land on a platform in the Atlantic Ocean so they can recover this first stage.
Nice. So they're not going to put like parachutes over it like you do in Kerbal Space Program. They're just going to like retrograde like right before it hits the water to where it
I
doesn't
think
break
it's going
apart.
to be all autonomous computer retrograde
Yeah.
to land on a pad. So if they can
Oh.
make this work,
Why on a pad?
Yeah. That's cool though. Well, not because, if they put it in the water, then it can get like,
I'm
they
assuming
won't be able to find
if it gets in the water, it's probably gonna.
Well,
sink.
no, they would be able to find
Yeah.
it because they're putting out a pad, so they know where it's going to land. Right?
Yeah, I'm
That's
sure
what
they're
I'm
gonna have
saying.
all kinds of like stuff around there to monitor it or whatever. It's not just gonna be waiting out there.
Yeah.
And then not
But
just
I
be
mean,
like,
they
oh,
put
let's
it on
go
a
check
pad.
it out and see what happened or some kind
I
of
guess
thing.
when you said pad, I immediately thought of some sort of like elaborate dock, like a big metal thing. But you're talking about some sort of floating.
It's some kind of floating ship with very precise stabilization things to say
okay.
like a certain GPS
Right.
coordinate.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the ship's probably going to be able to like move around and try to catch it sort of thing, right?
Yeah, it's going to be staying
Like
as
the
still as
fat
possible because
kid
I think the
at
rocket's
kickball.
just pre-programmed to land on a certain spot no matter what happens.
Well, I guess that's significant just because they're trying to make a more sustainable kind of thing, right?
Oh yeah,
They're
like
just trying
if they can make this work, like you're gonna save so much money on rocket launches.
Right. Because that's millions and millions
This
of dollars
means
that they just throw
absolutely
away.
nothing to me.
So basically, every time you launch a rocket, when you lose this first stage, you have to rebuild it. You have to rebuild the engine, rebuild the
okay.
entire thing. It's very expensive.
Who's doing this? Isn't NASA out of business?
This is SpaceX.
It's a private
owned by
space
Elon Musk, the same guy
management
who
facility.
does Tesla electric cars and who made PayPal.
Somebody who's got just shitloads of money that they
Yeah,
can
he's a
never spend
billionaire.
in their entire life.
He's huge.
That's a good way to do it.
I was gonna say though,
like,
if you have shitloads of money, at least you're doing this and not just buying like
Yeah,
it's a great investment.
legally
though, because,
purchasing hookers and doing whatever you want with them.
yeah. Elon
maybe
Musk does good with his money.
right, like maybe in 50 to 100 years, yeah, sure he'll be dead, but we might be able to mine asteroids, and maybe SpaceX gets the first asteroid, and that's like an absurd amount of money.
Well,
right
yeah,
there. Like,
his
there's supposed to
entire
be-
fortune or his progeny will be rich for the next 3,000 generations.
yeah,
Yeah, there's
they'll
actually
basically own Earth, that or Google or China.
there's actually already a startup with the exact objective of trying to mine an asteroid.
Right.
It's
right.
run by the guy who does the these like worldwide like awards to like for ridiculous challenges. I think one of them is to try and get a private space team to land a probe on the moon and like beam back video or something.
Could I go off on a tangent real quick?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. How do you determine ownership for
Right.
cosmological bodies? If you're the first
Um,
one to anything in space, can you declare it yours because you were the first one there?
Yeah, I think they're actually working on that for formal laws. There's nothing yet, but
They've already written some laws about like the moon and stuff, and basically I remember watching a YouTube video about it, so take all this with a grain of salt.
Sure.
But they talked about how everything that isn't Earth, no one owns. Like no human being owns anything that's not on Earth, kind of thing,
Huh.
unless it's like a satellite, that they launched, obviously. But like
Right.
a moon, an asteroid, space dust, like no one owns that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But that's mostly because we can't do anything with it. We don't have a moon base or anything like that. The
Right.
last person to go to the moon was in like 1976. So it's like no one's like
72.
going over there. Or 72. Okay, thank you. Even more
Nerd.
far back. Well, it's good that he knows that. But because of that, it's not really a big deal right now. But yeah, when we do get to the point where we're mining asteroids and like we're colonizing things, because we already landed on a comet, we just haven't got men to do that. People. So when that starts to happen, I'm sure we'll have to like refine the documents and all that stuff. But that'll be another fun point for like legal history, I think. Who owns the moon? Well, we'll just do it like Antarctica, where everyone gets like a pie of it,
yeah.
and then
the,
we'll fight
Pie
over
of
it. There will be the moon wars.
I thought you were gonna say everybody starts off on Earth, and then the first one there just like rat race. You just if you're there, you get it.
That was a great movie.
Yeah, I think the first person to mine an asteroid is going to be the first trillionaire.
Oh yeah, there's supposed to be like more platinum on
like,
most asteroids than on the Earth.
Batteries, the ability to make long-lasting batteries will not be a problem once you can mine asteroids to get all those rare metals or whatever.
Right.
God, you guys are giving me such a science boner.
It's just awesome to speculate about things like that, because
Yeah.
then we start to get into like this is what I kind of think about is like Dead Space, in that they had like
planet
the
crackers?
Yeah.
the planet crackers, and it's like
Good old
because
planet
eventually
cracker.
everything's just going to like exponentially multiply into like we're not even mining asteroids, we're freaking mining planets and all that stuff, and then we just start to tear apart like galaxies, and then it's like
Yeah,
eventually there'll be such greedy people where like
I was gonna say
just
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say like let's start tearing apart universes, like especially if there's like a multiverse. It's like screw that universe, like we own that universe.
That's the universe where everybody has feet for hands. What are they doing? hand shoes.
Yeah.
We'll just
Nerds.
we'll do like the Family Guy deploy all of like piss and shit to that universe, and then they'll have to deal with that in like 100 million years.
Well, what I was going to say was that humans, as they've shown on Earth, are just horrible rapists of natural resources. So I have no doubt that they would be like, well, I mean, there are life forms on the planet, but they're they're dogs at best. You know,
Yeah,
we can
there's gonna be, like,
genocide this
universities.
entire Mars dog population because there's platinum there that we can have for our batteries, which we don't need because we're solar powered. But god damn it, if we want them.
We're talking about making smartphones here, people. We don't care about dog things.
This will be the first smartphone with a curved screen. Somehow I want that. Somehow I need to have that in my life.
And then it's going to be the movie Avatar.
Yep. I like how they literally make the resource they're trying to get in that movie,
Oh,
like
God.
they call it unobtainium.
Yeah.
I know.
Like that's how oh gosh, that movie is just superb.
I hate that movie.
I think it's funny because, you know, like anyone can watch that movie and immediately say, like, if you've even ever heard of Pocahontas, it's Pocahontas.
Well,
Like
it's
there's
Dances
nothing
with Wolves as well.
Well, okay, Indian, like, you know, dealing with native, you know, species, like not
Yeah, and then
species,
becoming
but
one of
native
their own.
subcultures.
And then betraying the rapists of the land
Yep.
for
Yeah.
the people. Because you realize how valuable other cultures are.
Well, all that matters is that they're making 3 more of them, and Cameron is like
Are you
the
kidding
biggest.
me?
Yeah, I looked it up on Wikipedia.
Oh, God.
They've renewed Avatar for like 2, 3, and 4. So
Jesus.
that's gonna be a thing. Cameron
don't-
is just the best filmmaker.
I'm
He's-
pretty
he
sure
made
that those
Titanic.
movies will not do very well.
I hope they won't. I mean, I don't care honestly.
Well,
I'm
the
terrible
main
and cynical,
reason,
but
and I believe this wholeheartedly, Avatar as a movie without its 3D was absolutely terrible in my opinion. I watched
yeah, I
it.
agree completely.
it's
I
like
watched
visual
it at my
spectacle.
house because I didn't realize that it was a 3D experience. I was like, this is what everybody's losing their minds over? And they're like, yeah, but you didn't see it in 3D. I was like, great. It's a movie.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
You
right.
gotta
It's
have
like, it's
something
not
there.
timeless. Yeah, it's all about the first impression, visual spectacle awing you, but don't actually look at it with too much scrutiny. Otherwise,
Right.
you'll pick it apart within 5 seconds and realize it's a shit movie. But I mean, seeing that thing in IMAX in 3D, like that's what I did, and I saw it, I think like 3 times, which kind of makes me sad. But I mean, I was a little younger when it came out, and I definitely enjoyed it. But it didn't take me long at all to understand that it was like word for word Pocahontas, and the story was like utter shit.
Oh,
the visual spectacle though is amazing. I
It
mean, really
also
is. It's a-
it just employed this massive resonance of shitty movies being put in 3D for the next like year and a half.
Oh my god, yeah.
Do
I
you
don't think
remember
Avatar
that? Just
started that.
every single fucking movie, comedy movies, horror movies, action movies, shitty movies, cartoon movies.
There was comedies, like shitty comedies in 3D. I don't remember that.
Well, if there was a movie that came out between 2011 and early 2013,
2000 late.
I don't know when Avatar came out. I was too
Well, there's
busy
like-
being a teenager and not caring.
There's the good 3D movies that are natively shot with 2 different sensors, you
Yeah.
know, 2
So
different
they can be
cameras.
co-opted in different formats, either
Well,
in
just-
3D
It's
or
to
in 2D.
simulate like your eyeballs having like
Yeah.
depth of field or whatever.
Yeah, it's like that's the real way to do 3D, in that you're actually getting genuinely 2 different perspectives,
Oh, I
and
see
then
what you're
you're
saying.
overlaying them on polarized
Gotcha.
shots, like on the screen, to where when you use your glasses, you're actually seeing 2 different points of view, which is what your eyes are. They're 2 different points of view to give you depth. And then there's the shittier version, which is just it's a normal camera shooting an image, and then they just separate it, but it doesn't work correctly because that's not how you do 3D. And like Avatar and like the Avengers, and I'm pretty sure the Hobbit, the Hobbit
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
saw The
All those
Hobbit.
movies are shot in native 3D with 2 different sensors on the cameras.
Yeah.
And that's why they're like the 3D. For me, I mean, I pretty much haven't ever gotten headaches from 3D. I'm like the lucky one. I also have like like I don't wear glasses. You know, I don't have shitty eyes like you. Kidding.
Neither does Charlie, I don't think.
No,
No, I
Charlie
don't have
doesn't.
glasses either.
Well, la-dee-da.
I think I have astigmatism though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Oh, man, your eyes
pretty
aren't
sure
round.
I've talked to.
You messed
I'm-
up.
I've talked to people with contacts, and I don't know. Like everyone has a different 3D thing. Like most people I've talked to hate 3D.
I gotta stick
but
the
at the
3D
same
glasses
time-
on over my glasses.
You could get contacts though, right?
I'm not gonna get contacts just to watch a
Yeah,
shitty
yeah.
movie in 3D.
When
Can you
it hurt
imagine?
your
I'd
contacts,
have to
man.
kill myself if I got contacts just to watch Avatar in 3D.
But the experience, Andy,
Well, it
is
was
unlike
not that
any
much of an
other.
experience.
Well, when the fucking Oculus Rift comes out, it'll definitely be worth it. But then again,
See,
I'm
I'm
not someone
worried-
who has to go through the work of getting contacts.
I'm worried
so
that the Oculus Rift is going to be one of those things that, what's the word I'm looking for? It rationalizes or sort of defends like horrible games. Like, yeah, but it's on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Oculus Rift. It's like, yeah, but it's a bad
3D,
game.
bro.
This is just
Oh,
like
oh,
Avatar.
oh.
It's a bad
just
game.
the novelty is what you're talking
Right.
about. Yeah. Well, that's not. I mean, anything that gives you genuine like joy or fun is like can't devalue that just because it's visual or something. Just because it doesn't have depth in the writing or the
No, that's not
acting.
what I'm saying. I'm just saying I hope that it doesn't just become like we need to put a game on the Oculus Rift. Well, do it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about
It's
the
gonna
Oculus
be
Rift
fun.
is like the Oculus Rift's potential for obviously immersion, and here comes my immersion boner, but like the difficulty in getting a game onto the Oculus to work correctly takes like a lot of work. You can't just throw any game onto the
Right.
Oculus Rift and have it work correctly. So a game development studio can't just make a shitty game and then throw in Oculus
That's
support.
exactly what I'm saying though. Is I'm hoping that when they put in all that work to get it on the Oculus, I'm hoping that they don't just go, well, we got it all optimized for the Oculus. Let's just forget about the fact that there are other elements to it.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I think that the amount of money and time it will take for someone to, make Oculus support. I mean, there's already like Unity natively supports Oculus Rift support. So I understand what you're saying. Like anyone can make a shitty game with that. But for most like bigger studios, I think that's kind of what you're talking about, like Call of Duties and AAA games. Like,
right,
It's not gonna be a
EA
problem for
games,
them.
or
They
not
got
EA
money
games,
coming out of their ears.
Ubisoft games.
yeah, like they have to go through so much work to put it on the Oculus that I feel like they'll either say fuck it and not put it on the
Put out
Oculus,
something for the
or
PS4 or the Xbox One.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, obviously, you can support both the PS4 and the Oculus. The Oculus is just an alternative display. It's just like a screen, except it's fundamentally different in every way. But it is just another display.
Yeah.
Like simply putting it. And so I think like the big development studios, if Oculus is in every home, obviously they'll support it. But if they're making a shitty game and they don't even have the time and the money to give it true Oculus support, then they'll just say fuck it and they won't give it Oculus support, or they'll half-ass it, which is even worse, and the community of Oculus people will be like, this is an awful Oculus port, and no one will buy it for the Oculus in the first place, which will then make those development studios in later iterations of their game not do it because no one even bought it for the Oculus. It wasn't worth the time. So I don't know if that'll be such a big deal as far as like the big development studio spaces go, but for like indie gamers and stuff like that using Unity, like probably everything will have Oculus support because it's just it's a lot more simple, I think, for them to do it in like Unity or something like that. It's a less powerful engine, but it's easier for them to give it support. But at the same time, you can't do things like cutscenes where like your head just like moves like a camera, because then that just breaks the Oculus immersion, because it'll like tear your face off basically.
Oh my god, that would be hilarious. It's just like you're in a cutscene, it's just like ripping your head, like look this way, look that way.
Yep. That's like why the Oculus won't be used for like most games, like things like.
Well, if you're in a cutscene like that, though, I mean, it's just gonna show it on the screen. It's not gonna. You don't have to actually move your head, though.
Well, what I'm saying is, if you're in the Oculus and like you're not
in
seeing
the
another
Oculus.
display, if you're in the experience,
Oculus engaged.
and the whole point is like you can move your head to move the camera. Like the camera doesn't move with like a joystick. It does. It's just that's not your primary way to move it. When the game itself moves the camera, that's not your input, not the analog stick or your head moving it, but the game, that'll just destroy your whole like equilibrium and everything.
Well,
So
it does.
they wouldn't do that.
I feel like it would be fine because you have no point of reference to the outside world.
That's
like
true.
outside the Oculus, so they can just reset your view if it moves the camera like that. It won't change anything.
Outside the Oculus.
I've heard like everyone that's ever used an Oculus like says that cutscenes like that totally ruin it. Like games like BioShock Infinite, for instance. I don't know if that has Oculus support, but how that has cutscenes like that. Do the camera thing, like they're trying to make it more like a movie in the cutscenes and stuff like that. Or like any Rockstar game, any game that does that. Pretty much every game does do that in cutscenes. if they rip your view, like if they go left or right, then that totally destroys you because you're not the one doing that. Like if they were to make it to where you're
if it's live action and the camera's moving that's not good design though. It should either be a direct cutscene or just like you control what you're looking at.
Right, but even in a cutscene, if you're like in the Oculus, then if it changes the camera position without you inputting that change, then it rips your whole everything. It just destroys everything.
I don't think that would be a problem though.
I personally don't see that as a problem, but if people who are using it say that it's a problem, it might be.
Yeah, I mean,
all the Oculus is,
as
as far as I'm aware right now, is like having a television shoved up against your eyes with the added effect of you being able to control.
It's all about being able to move like with your neck, and that's
what I mean. Yeah, it's that, but I don't see how it would be that disorienting.
If you're doing it with your neck instead of rotating your whole body, then yeah, that's gonna mess up with it. But if you were just rotating your whole body, I don't think it would mess with.
Oh no, I'm talking about sitting down. I'm not talking about standing up.
If you were just rotating your whole body, it wouldn't matter because you wouldn't have any reference to the outside world.
Well, you still have a reference to the world, but it's not you're right in that it's not the outside world because all of your vision is cut off from the outside world, but you still have a reference point in the 3D world that you're in. And so when that camera changes without your input, when it goes from from the actual gameplay to a cutscene, that'll totally ruin your everything. It'll ruin your immersion and get you out of it. It gives people like motion sickness and stuff. Like I've seen people play games.
Okay, I think I understand what you're saying now.
Yeah, like because you do still have that reference point. It's not in the real world, but it's still in the video game world, right. And it would still totally disorient you. Like games like Portal, Half-Life, like every Source game, every Valve game, they always do the first-person games with no cutscenes. The only thing that they do is the loading screens, but those aren't very jarring. They just stop everything, but they're not that jarring. Like there's never any cutscene that you don't control the input in. You know what I mean? Like there are parts where the action stops, but you're still in full control, which is fantastic. Like they totally future-proofed.
They don't say, "Hey, you're gonna look over here because something's happening."
Right. They don't just like throw your camera into some place, whereas most games do. Right. And so like the way you would fix things like that is to make it so the camera doesn't move, but you're just in that 3D space, and then you can like look around in the cutscenes. Like that would be the best way to do it.
You got to do it Half-Life style because it's the greatest game ever.
I agree.
It is though. It is as far as like getting support for like virtual reality. Those games are like that's the way to do it. How they made those games. That's the exact way to do it. Obviously, the loading screens being seamless would be even better, but as far as like a game being made in 2006 and being like perfectly ready for virtual reality support, it doesn't get much better. So
04.
Yeah. 04? Is it really? It was 04?
It was 04, yeah.
Mr. Clockman over here. Yeah,
that was
episode 2 came
GTA,
out in what, 2007?
San Andreas.
Yeah, and Half-Life 1 was 97 or 98.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Half-Life 1 is exactly the same, just probably the graphics. Well, I mean, I was going to say the graphics would like make the immersion a little bit less, but it probably is still fine. I just haven't seen many people play it for some reason.
I mean, I've always thought they have good sound.
Yeah, for sure. Sound design is like really well done. And like the more talking about Half-Life 2, and we're totally on a tangent now. But
I think Half-Life might be where my fear of water started actually.
Oh yeah,
because little kid playing against those fucking ichthyosaurs. God damn.
The water levels have always been like shitty in games. I mean, I don't know if I've experienced too many good water levels. Like there's some cool swimming around in
Shadow
like,
of the Colossus has a great water level. And by that I mean great boss water fight.
Yeah, but you're never really underwater. You're just sort of swimming in the water.
Which was super intense for me, as you can imagine.
Absolutely. Shadow of the Colossus has a ton of different water bits.
I had no idea what was going to happen to me. I was scared.
Have you played Ocarina of Time, Andy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm sure you love the water temple then.
Yeah.
It's not as
those iron boots.
Everything in the fucking Ocarina of Time is just modeled terrifying.
Yeah, Ocarina of Time is like the one game where they went super just realistic on it, and it's freaking creepy as hell.
Yeah, and the animation too, like really ties the room together as far as the creepiness goes.
So many things are just foul and disgusting in there.
Yeah.
Like likes and redeads.
And Link.
And Jabu.
I just can't. I absolutely cannot wait for the Oculus Rift to come out for the consumer version. Like I am so genuinely excited for that. It's
That's
insane.
good.
Like, I bought the steering wheel and the shifter and the pedals for Euro Truck so I could like get the Oculus and just like lose myself in Europe
This is
when it comes out.
fantastic. He just
You're gonna
wants
be
to
a
use
fucking-
the Oculus Rift to drive.
Yep.
You're gonna be a fucking like simulator truck driver with a fucking.
To simulate the thrill of driving a huge truck.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, that's gonna be my first
I know,
chill
that is
intro to it.
sad.
You just have to simulate smoking crack and picking up hookers and shit.
The people at the Oculus Rift are like, you can finally fight dragons hand to hand, and you're just
I'm
like,
like,
but what about driving in trucks that are slightly larger than the ones you normally drive, like a grade A truck?
It's so enjoyable.
And
You
they're
just
like,
gotta
get
go play
out.
it.
Or farm simulator or something.
Yeah,
He's like, I
farm-
can't
Oh,
wait
I
to
would never
fucking
play
till
that.
some fields.
Yeah, he uses the Oculus Rift for like normal like laundry simulator 2016. Oh my god, the
That's what
folding
this game
mechanics
has
are
been
so
missing.
good.
Dude, every other simulator besides Euro Truck is absurd, but Euro Truck does it so gamey. Like, it's a very gamish simulator. Oh, you guys just got to go experience.
It's not
Euro
a
Truck.
simulator then, is
Talking
it?
about simulator, I can refer you
It
to
is a
certain
simulator in that it tries to emulate real life, but it does it in a very video gamey way that doesn't make it feel monotonous. Like it's not totally awful, basically, like most simulators.
I can
If
guide
you
you
could have
to a
one,
certain
if you
simulator.
could have one experience from video games that you would be put into with, of course, video game character rules, what would you do?
Like completely immersed, like as real life or something.
Well, basically like real life, except you wouldn't die.
Well, like what you're saying, Andy, is like you live in that space, so like the graphics are exactly the same, but you
right.
you live
like
in that
Kelsey
space
would
kinda
use
thing.
his power to drive a truck, which is
No,
understandable.
I wouldn't. Not even slightly. That would be a nice little world, but it has no depth as far as like not driving
I'm
a
driving my
truck.
truck. It's a nice little world we live in.
And then I'd be like, I have to go pee, and then it's like, sorry, you're in a fucking
Yeah,
truck.
you're waiting
It's
until
not-
2017 when they release Bathroom Simulator.
And it's not just truck like Euro. It's not just truck simulator. It's Euro truck
You're
simulator.
right.
Yeah.
You drive
Why
on the
can't it be
right side of the
American
truck.
truck simulator.
No, that's only in the. That's
Oh,
only
you're
in,
right. It's
Britain.
just the UK.
Most of Europe is
Damn
just
it.
like America. Most of the world is just like America, if I know right.
Well, Europe has a lot smaller roads than America does,
Mm-hmm.
and they're a lot more windy, not flat and like straight or whatever.
Yeah, it's because they had to deal with horse and buggies and all that.
That's the
shite.
reason why you have like drag type cars in America and then like sports cars in Europe or whatever. It's because the roads you're designing the car for.
Exactly.
Right. I didn't even.
I knew
didn't
that.
even.
I knew
yeah,
that, of
that's-
course.
That's some good shit.
Of course I knew that. What kind of
But,
human grows
yeah.
up in today's society and doesn't know that? Is
The
my
game I would
question.
live in is Shadow Chernobyl, of course.
Is it?
Yes.
Is that really your favorite game?
Gosh.
I love. Yeah, that's my
I didn't
favorite
know.
game.
I didn't know if that was just YouTube bantering about being dicks. Like, this game is so bad. It's my favorite though.
No, I don't think it's bad. I love all its flaws. I'm in love with that game.
I don't know. Like, as far as living inside of like a game, I wouldn't like. My favorite games are Shadow of the Colossus, and that's actually kind of a contender for living in that. But like, also my favorite is BioShock, and like, I would not want to live in that space. It's
Well, I didn't
fucking
say what your
terrifying.
favorite game is. I'm just saying what
Yeah, yeah,
universe would you choose to live?
Well, that's just what I'm saying to Charlie. It's like, would you really
I
want
don't
to
know. I
live?
guess The Sims at that point. Then I don't know.
yeah.
Again, he just wants to live. He just wants to be alive.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, shit.
I don't know. I'm like assuming
great
that I would
question.
enjoy living in Shadow Chernobyl as much as I play it or whatever.
I also
Yeah.
had that brief thought, like, I would probably get tons of pleasure from blowing up Raiders' heads in Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah,
when they try,
absolutely.
When
Now
they
that I
start
think about
talking
it, like-
shit like they don't see me armed to the teeth with power armor and laser guns.
Now I
but
gotta
then-
say
but then
Minecraft is a
you're
contender.
wandering the waste and the Yao Guai comes
You're-
upon you.
yeah,
and you're
that's
basically
true.
dead.
Well, if the same rules for death works, then you just reload.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, I thought you were
But
like
then
the
that
same
makes
No,
as
sense.
I
real
was.
life.
I was
like, I would
more of what Charlie's talking about.
If you were saying like if you die and that's it, it's like I'm never leaving the vault, man. Like
Yeah.
You know, this vault life isn't so bad. I would
Fallout
leave the
world is an
vault
interesting
once
one,
to
though.
go find the smuggest son of a bitch and blow his brains out, and then I go back to the vault.
the sheriff of
Tenpenny?
Megaton.
Can you? Yeah, it is probably Tenpenny.
No. The smuggest guy isn't even Tenpenny. It's his fucking. It's
the
his
sh-
assassin dude,
The sheriff
Mr.
of
Burke.
Megaton is the smuggest bastard.
No, I'm talking
The
about
sheriff
like
is a great guy.
No, yeah, I'm
Fuck
talking
that
about the
guy.
people who talk shit to you, even though they have
Oh.
no right
Oh
to.
yeah. Like when you're
those
wearing
random
power
drug
armor
addicts and rivets.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the
Yeah.
random NPCs who feel like they're tough shit guarding vaults.
Yeah, I was just thinking the other day, and we always seem to talk about like Bethesda RPGs now, but I was thinking the other day
Those are
how much
revolutionary.
like immersion value adding in like the NPCs in like a Bethesda RPG. What if like you could type in your name and then they say your name? Like how awesome would that be? Because they're always like, "Hello, dude," or chief.
I think
you know,
that was their intent, though, was to just have you be the courier or the waste. What's the other one?
yeah,
The
no,
courier or
absolutely.
the
I mean, they
wastelander?
do that so that it's easier to record. But I mean, it would be cool to be able to roleplay like a character and like they actually say your name.
Sure.
Like
Yeah,
even
like-
if it was like. Even if it was only like you could choose from like 20 names, or maybe they just like said your like race or something, and then that would be like racist, you know, in some
They
parts,
do
but,
that
like,
in the Elder Scroll games. They're like, fucking
Yeah.
Argonians. And you're
Yeah.
like, what?
Yeah,
I'm
they
the
do.
only character who doesn't look fucking disgusting.
I mean, in Fallout, they call you smooth skin if it's a ghoul or whatever.
That's true.
well, they call them smooth skins, but they don't call you a
Well,
smooth
you
skin.
are a
'cause-
smooth
Oh no,
skin,
you're right.
so
You're
they
right.
do
You're right.
call
I'm
you
a
smooth
skin.
hard nugget. I was thinking about ghouls.
Yeah,
like
I was
a
thinking with
ghoul.
the name thing, like the first time you'd run
Yeah.
upon like Talon Company mercs, they'd be like, "Hey, there's that fucker Charlie, kill him."
God, I
something
love
like that.
Fallout lore.
I do too. It's my favorite lore of probably any other universe. It's just like
Yeah.
the like Americanized yet like Tesla won over whoever the fuck invented. There was the
Tesla versus Edison,
Edison. Thank you.
AC versus DC.
You've never
Right.
heard of Thomas Edison?
I've definitely heard of Edison. Just the name was evading me, like everything does.
Commonwealth Edison?
I would
ComEd?
imagine the name Tesla would evade you, not Edison.
Yeah.
I just watched The Prestige, and so
Oh.
like Tesla is he's in that movie a lot.
Mm.
It's a Christopher Nolan flick. You guys should see it.
Death Race.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm glad we didn't adopt Edison's philosophy. That wouldn't have worked.
I agree.
Well, that's the Fallout like universe, is that we did adopt Tesla's ideals instead of Edison's. Like
No,
Tesla's
we did
like,
adopt Tesla's ideals. We don't use Edison's stuff.
We use the phonograph still, bitches.
No, I'm talking about AC versus
I
DC
know.
power transmission.
I know.
I don't know. Maybe the universe is like something else. I remember it talking about how like the alternate reality starts as we adopting Tesla over Edison, and like Tesla like that idea of
No, I
power
think
where
you're
like
right.
everything's nuclear and all that, and like because like the cars in Fallout are nuclear powered. I'm like George Bushing it right now. Nuclear.
Nuclear bomb. No, but
But,
the when people say Tesla versus Edison, they're talking about AC versus
Yeah,
DC
they
power
are.
transmission.
Right. Because Europe uses what, DC, and we
No,
use
they use
AC.
AC. They just use a different voltage.
Right.
DC
Yeah, my dad knows
is
a
not
lot about
feasible
that.
for long range power transmission. It just doesn't work.
Because it just runs out of energy the longer you do it.
It's
Kinda,
because power is equal to voltage squared over resistance. Or is it?
My God.
The fact of the matter is, when you run AC, you have a lot less resistance because it's a much higher voltage than DC circuits or whatever.
It has less resistance, meaning that it can flow
It can
faster.
travel farther
You
because...
lose. There's less power loss.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yes.
But why is Europe like a thing? How do they just do so well?
Oh, their voltage is like twice as much as ours for some reason. I don't know. We use like we use like 105 volts, and they use like 220 volts or something like that.
to compensate for the resistance is what you're saying? They up the
Well,
voltage to compensate for it?
that's what comes into your home. The power transmission lines use like 50 or 100,000 volts.
Okay.
That's why you have transformers. They change that voltage down to 220 volts or vice versa.
Transformers is the greatest
basic-
Michael Bay film ever. That's my comment.
Xbox is turning into robots. I remember seeing that product placement in like the first Transformers, and I was like, oh,
yeah.
that's just funny. Like, let's turn Pepsi machines and Xboxes into Transformers.
Oh, yeah.
Subtle marketing gimmicks.
Oh, yeah. I hate
Do you have
Michael
more
Bay.
sciencey things to talk about? Yeah, Michael
weren't-
Bay's the best.
you were just asking something, weren't you?
Which one of us?
Kelsey.
We were talking about Fallout and the reason that they...
You were talking about something with like just the electricity thing before mentioning.
Well, I mean, I was saying how much I love Fallout's alternate universe because everything's like bigger and better, and then we got into a resource war and nuked each other, and no one knows like who started the nuking first, but then everyone was just like, fuck it, let's blow each other up. It's basically like the Cuban Missile Crisis. Everything comes back to the Cuban Missile Crisis, really.
All right, I just figured out why AC is a lot more efficient than
Do you mean
DC.
That's what those
Googled it.
clicks were in the background.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna say, do you mean you Googled it, or did you
I-
actually figure it out with math and stuff?
Yeah, he has like a
It's a
chalkboard
simple
right next to the
equation.
desk.
God
All
damn
right,
it.
so
How
the
did I
equation
miss it?
for voltage is current times resistance. So if you plug that, and then the equation for power is voltage times current. So if you plug in voltage, which equals IR, into that equation, you get I squared R. So basically, the square of current times resistance is how much power you lose in these lines. So to transmit 1 watt, for example, you could do that with 10,000 volts and 0.00001 amps, or you could do that with 1 volt and 1 amp. But the one that has the higher voltage has a lower power loss because it has a lot less current.
You lost me at
I
Meatloaf,
was gonna
but
say you lost
Yeah, it's
me.
not.
at-
It's not going to be.
Welcome to LDR Radio.
everyone
the
has
point.
left now.
Okay, so the point you have to
it's
get is that the lower the current, the less power loss you have.
Okay.
So with direct current, you need a lot.
So
higher.
ours is America's
What you're saying is America
transmitting
is
like,
supreme.
we're more efficient.
Once again.
Well,
over
no. If you were talking
the other
just from
country.
like the power lines to the house, like Europe would actually be more efficient. But
Hold it, Dash.
I don't know why they chose.
Hold the
220.
phone. You're actually saying something bad about America right
Why?
now.
Hold,
I don't
hold
do
on
that.
there.
I don't know why they chose.
America
220 volts.
is the greatest country to ever exist. That's
They-
a fact right there.
They probably just did it so they could sell different stuff in each country easily without it like working in
Charlie,
the other
who
ones.
landed a man on the moon?
Charlie, let me ask you something. Where did football, and I'm talking about real American football, originate? You answer,
Not the football where we stole the name
Yeah,
from the
you answer
entire
me
other
that,
parts of the world.
where the
I'm
entire
talking about
rest of the
football.
world says football, and somehow we're right. I mean, that's above me. I can't say. God, Jesus can say, but I can't say why that's right.
God knows why that's a fact, but it is a fact.
But it is a fact. We can't lose sight of that.
Okay.
Can I just say that is the greatest thing we've ever done?
Oh yeah, it's just a complete, like it shows how much we just love everything else.
Well, that's one of the things that I always recall is that America's always like, it's football, or it's soccer, not football. It's like literally everyone else in the universe that we know of calls it
Yep.
football.
And fuck
Yeah.
Celsius too, because Celsius is stupid. Like 0 being the level of freezing things,
meters?
like that's just retarded.
Why?
Your sarcasm is pretty thick there.
So thick.
Thick as I put peanut butter on bread. Fucking thick to where when I squish the second piece of bread on it, it just goops all over, and then I have to lick it all up. And
It sounds like you're describing the world's worst porno to me.
yeah, I kind of, as soon as I started going down there, I was like, well, that's gonna be.
There's no way
be one
I'm
of those
coming back from this.
edited-
Might as well indulge myself.
Nope, absolutely, and I did, and I'm happy that I did.
I mean, we're slowly but surely moving to metric. I mean, we got car engine displacement is measured in metric now. Soda comes in metric bottles. Power's described in watts and not BTUs per hour.
It's because BTUs are stupid.
British thermal unit. That's why.
Metric's dumb. I don't want everything to be based off 100. I want it to be based off of a rounded, even number that isn't distributed into equal parts.
I would prefer normal American numbers like 5,280 or 12 or 32
We're talking American numbers.
Or
Or
1320
16.
there's a quarter mile.
or 14.7. That is pressure, atmospheric pressure, or
Yeah, bitch.
Texas.
Only Americans listen to this, and now they're all gone.
Well, fuck
So it's
them
really just
then
the
if they can't
Japanese-
handle
I
the
don't
level
think
of
those
truth
kinds
we're
of Americans
spitting out.
listen to our podcast.
No, probably not. And if they do, they're either masochistic or just they're really
Well,
bored. I
Now
don't
they're
know.
gone since I said that.
Little Eskimo children listen to this podcast up in Antarctica.
No, I still like the idea that there's like a small little niche Japanese subgroup that just enjoys our
They're
podcast.
just in love with us.
All
Yeah,
right,
'cause, like,
next
everything
topic
has a-
here.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you.
No,
right,
no, I was having fun.
So
That SpaceX idea, though, is fucking awesome, and I love that we're trying to save more money because, at least in Kerbal Space Program, that's one of the biggest ways to waste money is to not save those parts that you deploy. What's the fucking word when you like you do the little and it like falls off?
Staging.
I know it's staging, but like there's an actual word. Decouple. Decouple is what I'm talking about.
Disengage.
When you decouple apart. Yeah, like in Kerbal Space
Explosive
Program,
decoupling.
you can put a parachute on things, and if they land on land or even in water, I think the parachute will automatically deploy like without you even having to do that, and then you'll save the money. It's fucking cool. That's all I'm trying to say here.
Good. Don't.
So Charlie, what's up next in science and the news?
So this is your show.
All right, I had a quote thought about for time travel, but I forgot it now. I had this just written down on my thing. I only wrote time travel, but I probably should have wrote the quote as well.
I wrote eggs,
Nice.
milk, bacon. This
Butter.
might be a shopping list. Hold on a second.
This is either a quote of time travel or a really shitty.
This would
shopping list.
explain why I bought so many time machines from the grocery store.
That should be a thing. Time machines just like on the shelf.
If you had a time machine, what would be the one thing you'd
How
use it
far
for?
does this one go? It only goes back to the 60s. It's real shitty.
Yeah. It's only got
Implying
40
that the
years
60s
front and
were shitty.
back.
Time machines on shelves. I want that.
If you
Yes, here we go. Here we go. I got it.
you do your thing,
I
Charlie.
thought of it.
Yeah.
All right. So, if time travel to the past was possible, shouldn't we have already seen time travelers?
That's not a new thing.
Yeah, you dick.
Everyone knows that. Jeez. Why are you asking questions that everyone knows? It's common
Everyone
knowledge.
knows that, you stupid idiot.
Steep. No, that is actually incredibly interesting, though. I mean, it kind of does. It either proves that time travel is totally not happening, or it proves that humans died before it's possible, or it proves that time travelers.
So it literally
are fucking
proves
spies.
anything and everything. I can
So it proves
construct
nothing.
14 distinct and unique universes right now that still allow time travel to happen.
There's actually a guy
Well, I'm not
that,
an intelligent man.
a guy solved.
You
Wait,
said
what was that?
with such shame. Like, I'm not an intelligent man.
Ugh. This guy actually solved. He found a solution to Einstein's relativity equations that allows for backwards time travel.
Oh, really?
It involves like slingshotting around a binary pair of black holes.
Christ.
I love black holes now that I've seen Interstellar.
Oh yeah, just because they're the first people to ever show what one actually looks like. It's incredible what they look like.
You mean Interstellar?
Yeah.
Are they
'Cause
right?
Everyone
Oh, yeah.
thought they were just black holes before that, but you got the accretion disk that like bends all around the thing and everything. It's incredible.
Well,
looking.
it was only visible like that because there was a singularity happening. There was a star dying in the black hole, like it was absorbing a star. Like I thought that was the only reason you could really see it.
Oh yeah, I mean,
the-
the black star will
the-
have to be eating another star for you to see it like that. But
Right,
when
because it
does,
still bends the light around the stars that are behind it, right?
Yeah.
So you would still see something. Because I remember on Cosmos, of like one of the few episodes I actually did watch, the new ones. I mean, Neil was talking about how, and because I'm on a first name basis, Neil was talking
Yeah,
about
I
how
love when people do that. It's one of my favorite things.
Neil, my good man over here.
I was just
sitting down
listening to
next
some
me.
Dave. What? Dave Matthews, Dave. You just gotta get some Dave.
No, I mean, like looking directly at the black hole, you still wouldn't see it.
Yeah, that's what he was talking about. It's not visible in our light spectrum that human eyes can see. It's like this.
Yeah,
we call it a
you'd
black
only be
hole
able to see
because-
it because other stuff isn't as black around it or whatever.
Oh, okay.
See
Okay,
it
so it's
like
one of
in
those things.
quotations.
Yeah,
There's
because
nothing
it's
to see
like-
because it is the purest absence
Yeah.
of light there is.
Oh yeah, that is interesting.
Some fucked up
Purest
shit
black
right
you
there.
can ever find.
It's the blackest black. But the reason we know about them is because of X-ray light, right? Or X-rays.
And
Not
because they're
X-ray light.
enormous sources of gravity as well. There's one at the center of our.
This topic is
our
too heavy
galaxy.
for me.
I only know that there's tons and tons of black holes, or at least a big one in the center of our universe because of Mass Effect and then Spore.
Center of our galaxy.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say, not universe. There is a Great Attractor, though, isn't there? That's not attracting
Oh, I
every
just
galaxy
heard that in the
towards
podcast
us.
today about this Great Attractor.
I'm
Yeah, it
a
was just
great attractor.
some source of like gravity that couldn't be accounted for why these certain galaxies were like moving towards each other or something.
Well, because I mean, the universe is expanding,
Yeah, because
From
of
a-
dark
from a
matter.
reference
dark
point.
energy. Excuse me.
right? The dark matter, dark energy is like something like 97% of our universe,
Have
and we
they-
don't know what it is, so we
Dark
can only
matter
explain.
is we can only account for 4% of the gravity in the universe.
Right.
So that's what dark. Don't think it's matter. That's just a placeholder. You might as well call it Fred.
Yeah, we don't know what the name is. Like we
Too
don't know
much
like what
Fred.
it is.
And then dark energy is what's pushing the universe apart.
I love that. It sounds really mystical when you
God,
say
I wanna
dark
be a
matter and dark
scientist.
energy.
And dark energy is not energy either. We don't know what that is either. That's just a placeholder as well.
Right. I just remember lots of Star Talks
And
because
I
like
talk
Neil
fast.
pretty much he talks about it in like almost every episode of Star Talk. He's like, well, we can really only explain it by dark energy and dark matter, and we can't actually explain dark energy and dark matter, so we kind of just don't know what the fuck's going on.
I mean, on that basis, we still can't really describe what gravity is.
That's true.
We know what it does.
You can't describe gravity without.
If you're in an Einsteinian world, gravity is purely the bending of space and time.
I like where this is going.
Have you seen like pictures of like bent space time around planets and stuff? It like makes like cones downward or whatever.
Yes.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah,
I
like
think I've seen
that's
stuff like that.
that's like how gravity is explained in relativity. It's just that things come on these like cones in space time and basically fall into them a certain way or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I know I've seen things like wormholes where it gets all kind of like, that's my way to describe it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Just sort of like bends
Well,
everything.
wormholes do they exist? Is that a fact?
I think they're theoretically possible.
That's
but not
they're
proven.
plausible, but I don't think they
Right.
exist.
Yeah, that was one
I
of the-
think
yeah.
someone did a calculation and you would need like all the energy in the galaxy to make one or something.
Oh, really?
So yeah,
I've heard-
that would be the ultimate Dyson sphere.
I've heard from somewhere that there are things that occur within, not like, I mean, I don't know what like way of saying time for them, but like they occur within seconds and then they like dissipate. Like they occur and then they dissipate incredibly quickly. So like the idea of like an Interstellar version where it's like there is maybe, I don't know. Obviously we don't know.
I
enough
think
about
to keep it
wormholes.
open is what requires the insane amount of energy.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense then.
Because
Because
a wormhole
I remember
connects 2
hearing-
points in
You
space
can-
time to
It
one
connects
another,
2
right?
points in our 4-dimensional world through higher dimensions.
Right.
right, something like that.
Yes, of
That's why we need a
course.
tesseract.
Of course.
Yeah, but on the same basis of time travel into the future is very much possible and happens all the time
Is it now?
through
Well, it's happening right now. Ooh.
relativity, time dilation.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't.
So basically, the faster you go, the slower time goes.
Well,
for
the
you. They did
closer
that.
you get to the speed, we have to go past the speed of light, don't you, for time dilation?
No, that would be to go back in time would be faster than the speed of light.
Oh, okay, so the closer you get to the speed of light, the slower time
goes,
occurs.
or the closer you get to a large body of gravity like a black hole.
Oh, really?
Well, that's why satellites around Earth are slower than we are, right?
Yeah, and that's why they need to account for relativity in GPS satellites.
Yeah.
It's
And
the way that.
I mean,
well, go
that's
ahead.
the premise of Interstellar. That's
Yeah.
how Matthew McConaughey got so.
Yep. Hey, let's not spoil anything now.
Okay, I stopped.
Yeah, that was one of the most emotional scenes I've ever seen in a
Wow.
film, like
Guys,
ever.
fuck off.
Just
I haven't
amazing.
seen the movie yet. Jesus.
Yeah, that
Andy,
was-
you need to go
I'm
fucking watch it.
sorry.
So we can do
They're
it.
used
I
There's
got
no
a
time
busy
dilation.
life. These
There's
Cheetos
a
aren't going to
time
eat
dilation.
themselves, you know.
Seriously, Andy, do they have theaters where you live?
Not likely.
What do you mean not likely?
I haven't
we talked
checked.
about this. What
Ticket
do you-
prices are outrageous, and I don't have the funds.
Get the funds.
I just funneled all my money
Damn it.
into a PlayStation.
Oh yeah, did you get those Best Buy
yeah.
points yet?
Yeah, I got them. Don't worry. We're
Hey,
Oh, yeah.
how is that? How is that PS4 that you bought that I
Uh,
shook my head?
It's pretty amazing.
Is it?
Yeah.
So you're actually touching it? It's not collecting dust?
No, I'm touching.
Collecting
Nice.
dust. I just bought it.
Yeah. Well, my house is super dusty. I've actually got a couple machines just making dust to
Yeah.
keep up the allure, the appearance.
Do you change?
I
your
haven't
air
really
filters?
talked to anyone that has a PS4 yet, though. So, like, what's it like? What's the awesomeness of it? What games do you have for it?
I don't have any games.
Is it just me, or am I the only person that can't believe it's been over a year since those things?
Yeah,
came
no,
out?
I agree.
I can believe it. I just think it's funny because, like, there's nothing for them. Like, there's zero killer games for them.
I
and-
feel like when 360 came out, there was just so much crap or whatever.
Well, launch titles, there's like one. For like,
there's very few.
launch
that
titles
are
hardly ever
exclusive.
are anything that are interesting. I think
Yeah,
the
they're
Xbox
usually not.
One had like Dead Rising 3 was their big
Yep.
like
And that
launch
was
title.
Not a superb game, if I remember
And
right.
then,
It's not like awful, but it's just not.
I mean, Dead Space
Killer.
2. I mean, Dead Rising 2 wasn't even that good though, was
No,
it?
Dead Rising 2 was
No, Dead
garbage.
Rising. What? What? I thought Dead Rising 2 is a solid
Well,
improvement.
I haven't
over the
played
first one.
either. I'm just guessing.
Oh my god.
You like Dead Rising 2 more than Dead Rising 1?
Okay, if we're going to get into Dead Rising, I have to say, first of all, when I bought the Xbox 360, as in when my dad took me to GameStop and bought me an Xbox 360,
Sure.
the first game I ever played for it, because we couldn't afford to actually get a game, so we went to Blockbuster and I got Lost Planet, which was fucking awesome. I remember plugging it into my not HD TV and thinking it was the best looking game
You know
I've
what's
ever played.
interesting? I swear to God, I'll get back to you. Our kids will not have any idea of the concept of video stores.
Yeah, and I'm so in love with that. Video stores are fucking atrocious. They are awful for video games. They were really awful.
What are
for
you
video games.
talking about?
was an
Some of my
experience,
best
though. You gotta,
fucking memories are going to
I
video
know.
stores.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I agree, but as far as like an actual like the video game industry's economics, they're fucking awful. The way they do used games, like it just impedes development. Like it doesn't impede development. Sorry, it's not good for the gaming industry. Like as far as making money for the developers, because as soon as a game is returned there after it's been bought new, which GameStop had to buy it from the manufacturer,
Right.
which then gives money to the
You mean Blockbuster,
development.
right? As soon as
No, not Blockbuster. I mean like GameStop and Blockbuster.
well, GameStop doesn't
But
rent
Blockbuster's-
games, do they?
Huh?
GameStop doesn't rent games, nor have
No,
they
I'm talking
ever.
about GameStop. I'm talking about GameStop's used games.
You're talking about the used game economy.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you were
Yeah.
talking about
Yeah.
video rentals. I'm saying our kids will never know.
Yeah,
the
we're talking
concept
about
of
video rentals.
video stores.
okay.
Like going
Well,
to the
I
store.
thought you
and-
meant videos. I thought you meant like video game stores, like
no,
No,
sorry,
we're
like
talking
Blockbuster.
about rentals.
Yeah,
Like going to
yeah.
Blockbuster and
Blockbuster.
getting
Okay,
Medea's
okay.
House of Pain off the shelf and being like, "Oh my god, finally it dropped!" And then taking it to the lady,
Yeah.
and then her
I would
going like,
okay.
"Bring it back in a week," and you're like, "Okay." And if you're late, it costs you like $8 more.
Put the fucking lotion
No.
in the basket.
You
I
put the fucking
completely
lotion in the
agree.
basket.
Blockbuster is like it was the best childhood thing
Okay,
ever.
no
It
wonder.
allowed me
No
to
wonder
play
he was
hundreds
so
and hundreds of
bitter
games.
about it.
Yeah, no,
He didn't know what
Blockbuster.
we
I was like,
talking
how can you
about.
not agreeing with us?
Yeah,
yeah.
We're just like, wait a second. Were you born as like a 20-year-old asshole, or did you have a childhood?
Yeah, no, Blockbuster was like the reason I could play so many
Okay.
different
Yeah,
games.
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was amazing in that regard.
For $60, you
Even-
could play 12 different games.
Right, exactly. Yep. And I still think it's funny that like even in my later formative years, I bought like what was it called?
Later.
Modern Warfare 2 for $60
Yeah.
just to play the single player campaign. And I just think that's hilarious looking back at it, looking back on it now, because
After
like
the
the single player
extinction
campaigns are just so fucking
Wait,
short in those
Modern
games.
Warfare 4, as in
Modern Warfare 2.
Modern Warfare,
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty
Modern
4.
Warfare 2.
Okay,
No,
I
not
got
Call of Duty 4.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
That's like the sixth
one that
one.
has like the snowy level that I watched at E3 and went, you know.
Call of
And you
Duty
look
4
back on now and
is
go,
Modern
"Ugh."
Warfare.
Yeah, I mean, good God. I just think it's hilarious that I was like, I pre-ordered it and like my dad drove me down to fucking GameStop
Yeah, no, I-
to go buy that game for $60.
I
And
rem-
all I didn't even have internet to like experience what Call of Duty games are for. I just fucking played
atrocious
the single player.
11-year-olds just fucking cuss at you.
Hey, what are you
And
doing,
I enjoyed
man?
it.
You just shot me. Yeah.
Yep. And I like brought it like to school the next day just to like show my friends the case, be like, bitch, I got it.
Probably some kid didn't jack your disc or something.
What
Yeah.
Oh.
I didn't bring the disc. I just brought the
okay.
case.
Can I
That's
share a
smart. I'm a
story
shithead.
about online matchmaking?
I just want to say right now,
Do it.
Dead Rising 1
Like for
was
a
my
video
first
game?
it was my first next gen love. So I love Dead Rising 1, but I did think Dead Rising 2 did a lot of things right. I never played it nearly as much as Dead Rising 1,
Okay.
but the way Dead Rising 1's like saves worked made it the most impossibly difficult game if you played it the way I did, and that was in the way that I had no understanding of how you play those games, just basically like kind of not grinding, but you just played like the Dead Rising games like as a shit person, like you don't actually do any of the story, you just like
Right.
do a whole bunch of shit, and then you get to like level 30 and then you do the story.
Right.
Whereas, like I was playing it from like level 1 trying to do the stories fucking incredibly difficult.
I
The
gotta find-
saves were like,
I gotta find the clown that juggles the chainsaws and defeat
Yep.
him.
and I beat him once and I got the fucking chainsaws, and there was like that little teleporty location in the bathroom, and I got that after probably 2 years of playing the game.
jeez.
Like, oh Jesus Christ, those fucking games, like, because you would only be able to save like every 5 fucking hours.
Mhm.
It's just impossibly difficult. And then Dead Rising 2 came out, and you can just save in the fucking bathroom. Like, go take a shit and you're good.
Yeah.
Which made me really happy. But anyways, we can talk about what you wanted to say,
Oh,
Andy.
yeah. So we were playing Halo, me and 3 other friends. And
Which one?
Split screen?
Yeah, it was Halo Reach, I think.
Okay.
And it was
I love that one.
It was
I was
split
secretly
screen
hoping you were
online
gonna say the first
matchmaking.
one.
So it was the 4 of us versus 4 other
Oh.
people.
Nice.
And
That's the best way to do it.
this wasn't like, all right, we're the clan of the whatevers. This is just, what do we want to do today? And so we beat this other team, and we sent them like a message that was like, we're the best around. No. And he sent us
Oh, a voice message?
yeah, and this little kid sends us back another voice message like, you are not the best around. All you did was hide the base. And we sent it back, and they were like, oh man, I am so sorry that you got raped like that. And
Oh, God.
but in gamer talk, not actual
Yeah.
forced intercourse. And so
Right.
then the kid's mom / sister / female guardian sends us a voice message like, really? You're gonna talk about rape on here like that? Are you serious? There are kids on here. And then we send her one back like, wait a second. Hey, Tony, get the box. Oh my god, this game is rated M for mature? Whoa, are we engaging in mature content right now? Oh wait, it's okay, because that's what the box says. And then we didn't get any response from that.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's where the kid gets a smack to the ass and the game gets broken.
Yeah. Well, I
Did you
love
see
that.
That's what
'cause
happened.
Ever
Yep.
since I was a kid, I would watch like at GameStop these like 11-year-old kids come with their moms and be like, "I want Grand Theft Auto Rape City," and then the guy at GameStop would do his job and be like, "So this game has got like hookers and cocaine and shooting people and driving and running over hookers and cocaine."
Well, that's what they do. They get the back of the box and they read every single detail. So they're like, this has adult content with violence, graphic nudity, like drug use, and the parents just like, yep, because that my dad would do the same thing.
And the mom's just like, "Yep, I don't care." And I'm like, "That kid's like 11. No wonder America's so fucked up."
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, I played Grand Theft Auto games hella young.
Oh,
when
yeah,
they
so did
came out
I.
for the PS2. I mean, we all did, and we're not murderers, thankfully, not yet, anyway.
Yeah.
until
No,
the world
I'm
develops.
Kids just don't know what's going on if they have never. If it's stuff like that, they usually just have no clue what the hell's going on.
I mean, honestly, like sheltering your children, in my opinion, is way worse than them hanging out with maybe some bad kids or something at school and like talking the potty mouth and playing Grand Theft Auto games. I think
there are
sheltering your
lines.
child is a lot worse. Yeah, I definitely do think there are lines.
No,
like,
sheltering
you're
is awful.
like your 10-year-old probably shouldn't be doing cocaine in a back alley, but if they are at that point, maybe you are a bad parent, and that's just like your fault more than anything.
Sure.
But I definitely I do think like me playing Grand Theft Auto as a kid didn't make me a worse off like kid. It definitely made me love Grand Theft Auto games, and that's why I have fucking every poster on my wall.
Yes.
But
I think there are difference though. Like everything when we were kids was so much tamer. But I mean, if you think about it, like PlayStation and Nintendo 64 M games would barely pass for like E games now. They were so tame.
oh, totally. I'm pretty sure Oblivion is rated M, and that's the least M game I have ever played.
I think
that game
Conker's
has
Bad Fur Day
no.
would stay M.
That's true.
Oh yeah,
you're right.
yeah. But that was a totally edgy,
Well, that-
trying to be M.
That was originally adult, wasn't it? And then they
No.
downgraded it to M.
Oh,
I think you're right.
I was gonna say that was
AO
originally a
is
kids
what you're
game
saying.
that they scrapped and.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, it was
the
Conker,
devs tried to make a normal game.
Conker and the Seven Tails or something like that. It was originally like Banjo-Kazooie Rare like style game, and then I don't know what happened, but in development they decided to go another way with it, and I'm glad they did because
Definitely,
that
yeah.
game
It's one of
was
the
a
most
gem.
classic.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then they just
I mean, I actually
Okay.
had never played it as a kid,
Mhm.
and I played it on an emulator probably a few months ago.
Mhm.
And the opening scene, here it comes. It's from
Clockwork Orange.
A Clockwork
Yeah.
Orange, and it's just like I saw that and I was like, oh yes, this is what I need in my life.
Yeah.
So good.
I feel like if you were a superhero, that would be your weakness. You'd be like, I'm here to stop you. And he'd be like, yeah, you could do that. Or I could give you the entire Stanley Kubrick on Blu-ray collection and you could just let
No.
this slide. And he'd be like,
It would be
fuck yeah.
It It would be the Kubrick Taschen. Like they made a book about him, and it's completely like they don't have any copies of it. So yeah, if anyone brought me a book of like the Stanley Kubrick collection, I'd just be like, fucking murder those 30 hostages.
You'd be in your like Fortress of Solitude looking through the book, and the TV screens would be all around the world, like Tokyo, Brazil, Australia, and people would be screaming and buildings would be on fire, and you just have a glass of milk like, I made the right choice. Oh my God, is that an exclusive interview with... this is a good day.
Oh my God, a poorly edited 5-minute version of a like Kubrick interview? Oh, that is worth the $3,000 I spent on this awful book.
This is worth
amazing,
the hundreds of countries that I plunged into turmoil.
Yeah, that would be my kryptonite, absolutely. Someone just would be like, I could bring Kubrick back from the dead for a second, and I'd be like, oh, okay.
It'd be awesome
to
write a
like,
comic book about us that's completely like not serious.
What's that?
It'd be awesome to write a comic book about the three of us that's like completely... It's like a comic book, but it's disingenuous. Like, one of the bad guys that you're fighting has the power to bring Kubrick back to life, and you're like, okay.
Yep.
Just a disingenuous comic book series that I'm going to write now.
I think you're doing it like... I mean, honestly, probably a comic book is easier to do than an animated, but like... There's lots of what's a fucking thing? The animated British one, the podcast that they animate. What's it called, Andy?
Gervais show.
Yeah, the Ricky Gervais one. Yeah, they do that. Like, there's a ton of different podcasts that have like the animated things. Eventually, when we become gigantic, that's just gonna be an everyday thing. No big deal. That's what my ego's saying. Anyway.
No, I mean, I'm going to write a comic book series where we're all superheroes. Except for
you're
Charlie.
not actually going to take this from
Charlie's our butler.
That was gonna be
Charlie's going to be like the Meg with like the fingernails.
Charlie's power is he can speak Russian. Not really a superpower, but we didn't know what else to give him.
He can do sciencey. He can do good pseudoscience in Russian, and then like every single episode there will be a time where we need him, and he'll come through and save the day.
I thought you were going to say it was going to be a comic book just about our normal everyday lives.
No. It's a comic book where we're all superheroes, but we get brought down by superfluous means.
Oh, okay. I like that. I like that a lot. Like, our kryptonites are just absolutely just like, oh my God, is that a honey and peanut butter sandwich?
Oh my God.
I'm done.
Yeah, we're superheroes with one superpower and 375 million different forms of kryptonite.
Yeah, I like that. I can fly, but I'm also taken down from strawberry
But I'm
jam.
also allergic to air and water.
It's useful, just not on Earth.
It's useful. Not here, though.
Well, we can fly on the moon, really.
Yeah, I guess.
Just to be that guy. Do we have more topics, boys and girls? Dream time, maybe?
I got no dream time.
This is viewers, the part where you're going to hear a lot of clicks, a lot of typing.
Andy, give us a topic. I brought the other two topics.
Oh, yeah,
here.
sure. No, I had an interesting topic, a philosophical topic, perhaps.
There we go. Yep, that's your thing.
An
Andy.
innately atheistic topic, I'm sure.
Well, we needed to check that box anyway. So
yeah, we'll tick it. So the Christian, well, let's just say God himself. It's also science, so Charlie will get a kick out of this.
Well, it's also the Jewish and the Muslim God, isn't it? They're all the same God.
They are.
It's a gray area.
Aren't they all from the Old Testament or whatever?
They're all from the Abrahamic like lineage, but yeah.
No
Anyways, the point is, one of his qualities that makes him God is the fact that he's omnipresent.
Yeah.
Right? So,
yeah,
being omnipresent would mean that he would occupy every atom, every small unit of matter.
And lack thereof.
Which would mean...
So this is a theistic God, not a deistic God?
Well, it doesn't really matter.
Like, like a theistic God, okay, I'll just let you talk.
Any God with the quality of omnipresence.
Yeah, like not the idea of you created the universe and then you stopped. This is the idea of you created the universe and you occupy everything still.
Right,
that's implicit in saying like a Christian God or whatever.
Well, yeah. Any astral deity with the quality of omnipresence would occupy all space, and since I and you all occupy space that we know of, would mean that we are that omnipresent being, or that being is not omnipresent. Right?
I guess so.
Isn't that cool?
Pretty odd. I don't know. I never thought about it that way.
I don't feel like that's the way the majority of religious people would view it, as being omnipresent.
No, absolutely not. I think most people see it as he's like the narrator in a book he's always watching, and he can control all things, maybe, or maybe he's already
somehow
laid
like
out.
all knowing of everything, but he's not necessarily.
He's not
everything, or
yeah, he's
is
not
everything.
But he would have to be in everything to be omnipresent.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
that's the quality of omnipresence. And so,
what do you mean? He doesn't just have cameras everywhere?
Well, if you want to get data on everything, you need sensors and everything. If you want to bring it down to an earthly example.
Well, basically what I'm saying is the quality of omnipresence is in stark contrast with the fact that everything...
Yeah, I mean, it's not physically possible.
Well, it
or
is
it?
because the
know?
universe is...
Well, space-time is omnipresent.
Right, that's what I'm saying, but the fact that we are occupying space means that either we are this omnipresent being or the being is not omnipresent in the sense of omnipresence. That means that it occupies all matter.
Well, I mean, what's the real point, though? If we are all God, then, I mean, does that devalue the meaning of God? Does that make it, like, no big deal? Or what's the main, like, thing to take from this? I'm not sure I see the substance.
Well, the substance would be that for the main theistic faiths, we would either be God, which is in direct violation with what they say, or God would not be omnipresent, and if God's not omnipresent, he's not a perfect being, which would mean he's not God.
It contradicts what they say.
Right.
Yeah, I like the idea of there being a God, and he does exist, like, in everyone, so when we say, fuck you, Mom, or, like, you know, like, whatever,
Mom?
we just do something
Who
shitty.
says that to their
Kelsey's
mother?
got some
Nobody.
problems.
Kelsey does, apparently.
I have never said that, but maybe
have
one day
I.
I will. But, you know, when that day comes, that's God. Thanks, God. Thanks for saying that, you dick.
In that case, God was saying it to himself. He was fucking himself.
Exactly that. He's just a fucking weirdo.
And isn't that what God is? Just one big circle jerk?
Yep. He's just there talking to himself all fucking day.
I like the, what is it? The, what do they call it? The trifecta? No, the Trinity.
The unholy trifecta.
Like, just like God talking to Jesus is like, okay, Jesus, you're going to be in a lot of pain for a while. I mean, me. It's like one and the same person.
Aren't I you? Well, yeah, but in a different sort of way. Look, we could punch holes in this all night.
In the Trinity, there's God, Jesus, and who else?
The Holy
Holy
Spirit.
Ghost, whatever
that
thing is.
Right.
The
Holy
cloud,
Spirit.
dust, whatever.
The cloud.
Yeah. I really need to, like, master in theology so I can be that guy that's like, oh, no, not even you know what your own religion is talking about.
I know absolutely nothing about religion.
Yeah, I don't either. That's why
I may have read a few words out of a Bible once.
I know everything about religion.
I just love Gervais' like stand up. I showed you this, Andy, but I don't know if you saw it, Charlie, where he like brings out the Bible. He's like, yeah, I found it. It's an old dusty book in the library. Few people have checked it out, but it's it's pretty old. And he like slaps it on the thing, and then he like starts reading it. He's like, there's a few grammar issues, but it's really not a big deal. We can get through this, no problem. And he like starts reading through it, and he's like, oh god, it's just one of the fucking funniest things.
Yeah,
nice.
Just the amount of human that's in that book is hilarious.
So like, it's written by humans.
Like, I mean, in my stupid views, like if you're gonna believe in a god, like go believe in a god. Like that's a perfectly cool delusion to live under, but like why the Christian god?
What a
like,
horribly
God?
insensitive loaded sentence that was, but yeah
it is. It's completely insensitive.
The
and
New
that's
Testament God that Christians believe in is nicer than the Old Testament God.
That's true,
but still it's like there's just so many issues I have. I mean, that
of
obviously
course.
lots of people other people don't have,
and
but
just
it's like
I just have issues with how people interpret it. Like I don't know how anyone can interpret Jesus as anyone other than an absolute lovey-dovey hippie or whatever.
Right,
what
like
do
how
you
does
mean?
Jesus
Who
get
doesn't
tattooed on
interpret
the
it
backs
like
of
that?
Huh?
Who doesn't it? Who's the group of people who are like,
I feel
Jesus
like
was
redneck.
a badass
I feel
biker dude?
like redneck conservatives or someone's like Jesus was a gun toting. Like what gun would Jesus rock? An M16 or an AK-47?
Well, they're just
Oh
as
my God.
delusional as anyone else.
yeah.
Have you guys played Far Cry 4? Because there's a character in that that's like a preacher, and he's like, when Jesus comes back, what gun would he choose? And he's like saying revelations that are like off of gun names. He's like 1911, and it's like he has the 1911 pistol. Oh, it's a great character.
That does sound pretty great.
It is.
It does sound
It is.
pretty great.
He's like what I want preachers to be like.
He's who I want to be when I grow up.
Yep.
No, I agree with that sentiment, though, is if there's a God, it's definitely not the Christian God.
Right.
Because
that's what I think.
that God is messed up.
Yeah, I like the idea of a god that's just like, you humans are just another little speck on the universe. I just like to think of like the universe god, that like Earth isn't some special
Mom,
thing.
I spilled my M&Ms again, and they took on sentience, and they're fucking each other up for no good reason.
Yep.
Okay.
Basically the marbles and marbles god.
Hey, is the platypus the thing that people say is a creature by design or whatever?
Do they?
Isn't there some
I think
creature
that's
that
the-
everyone says is like a creature by design or something?
Humans, I'm pretty sure, is one of them.
Wait, you
I
mean
think it's-
a
I thought
creature
platypus
like
was like the
so
counter.
amazing and perfect that it has to be designed?
I thought the platypus was the counter to that argument.
Yeah,
but it's like, but look at this fucking thing. It's retarded looking.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone who doesn't believe in like science and reason, I feel like if you just like spit out science and reason at them, they'll just be like, oh well, that just makes. They can just flip it and say the other way.
Well, it's
or
because
whatever.
some people are beyond that.
Yeah,
They don't
yeah.
accept it
I mean,
because it goes against what they
That's
believe
what
in.
I
Like,
have with like that's a problem I have with like most atheistic movements. I was involved in one at like my first college.
Oh boy.
And, like,
what a
yeah, that was-
mistake
Never
that
even
must have been.
heard of
Yeah,
one.
that was back when I was still a kid or whatever. But it's just like, okay, in hindsight, you guys are wasting your time on adults. Like adults really can't be changed that much. Like you have to be focusing on the kids.
Well, a lot of it
there's
is
some
reduced
cases, though.
to just the reason that religion is so ironclad, and I use that word almost satirically, is that at the very end of all arguments ends with an unfalsifiable claim,
yeah.
which
unfalsifiable claim in that you can't prove that it doesn't exist.
well, yeah, the unfalsifiable claim would be something like, well, it's basically anything that nobody can prove.
Yeah,
But you're
yeah,
claiming
yeah.
it like it's a fact, so you don't need to prove it.
Yeah. All you can, I don't even know how to say this right. All you can really talk to people about things like that is just look at the world around you, think critically, be reasonable. Like, I would never want someone to change their mind just because someone else told them it was true. Like, just do some research.
Yeah.
And the most sad thing is most people are believing in what they believe in because of their family,
Well, yeah.
and because it's so
It's indoctrination.
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause
it's so ingrained
it
in
is.
their
I think
being.
it's almost a form of like child abuse to force
I knew you were
children
gonna
to
say
learn
that.
that stuff.
Yeah, I would agree, but I'm also a hardcore atheist person. But like, I like to think that what am I trying to say?
You hardcore atheist scum disgust me.
Yep.
I wouldn't
Yep.
say I'm a hardcore atheist anymore.
No.
Well, I'm not like militant.
No,
but
yeah, I never really was.
I do think that most religions make the world a worse place for the most part. Like,
See, I
Buddhism
disagree with
isn't
that.
super bad.
I think
Why do you disagree?
I
with
don't
it?
think religion makes the world worse. I think people are just fucked up in general.
Well, that's what I mean. I don't mean like the book is killing people, literally. I just mean like the book inspires hate and, bad things upon people. Like,
Yeah, but at
God
the,
hates fags and
at
shit
the-
like that.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, there's other horrible militant stuff that happens that's not inspired by it.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Sure.
if religion wasn't there, they just find another way.
Yeah,
to channel
exactly.
That
I
kind
think
of
people
stuff.
are just
That's true.
angry and hateful and pieces of shit in general.
Yeah, it's not like religion is the
That's what
problem,
I'm
really.
saying.
Yeah, the problem is
Yeah.
humans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you can believe in a God, just I would love for everyone to think critically and, like, have science as a part of their thought process.
That's why
like,
I love that one episode of South Park where they, like, he goes into the future and everybody's atheist, but they're like 3 different sects of atheist, and they all hate each other because they're not as atheist as the other ones.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so I love that because that's legitimately what I think would happen is if everyone became atheist, they just find some other stupid shit to sectional or segregate themselves.
Like in my perfect little atheist world, it would be like everyone's in harmony and everyone doesn't believe in that awful thing that is religion. But in reality, humans will always
somebody
clan
would be
themselves.
like, "Wow, I don't have any money. Would you help me?" And they were like, "Yeah, sure. I have tons of money that I'm not using. Well, I was going to use it to buy a huge television, but come to think of it, I could use 1 inch less and help you not die. Here you go." But in society, it's like, "Help me, I'm starving." And they're like, "No, I need this useless piece of material to validate myself for no reason."
Yeah.
Yeah. The beauty of the human condition. And I do it every day. I take really long showers and just go, fuck, man, there's so much water I'm wasting right now. And
I actually turn the shower off when I'm soaping.
Yeah, I want a little like nozzle thing that I can just like push it and then it just turns it off.
The universe. That's what
We
I
are
say.
twats. That's what makes us great.
Yeah.
I'm not a twat.
Well,
I don't know about you guys, but I'm a
la-di-da,
dick.
mister, I turn the shower off when I'm soaping.
Well, did you
Yeah,
know
I'm like-
you can say 0.15, whatever?
Yeah. Those people are just terrible. I hate activists. And not even because of the things they're activating for, just because they're all just petulant little
Activating
fucks.
for
Yeah, I've never heard that as the term.
verb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Activating. I'm going to activate this over here. You gonna press a button? No, I'm
if
gonna
they're
hold a sign.
activists, they're activating for something.
I'm not sure. I guess that's right, but it doesn't seem right.
Well, that's because
Activating is
in
like-
your feeble, hippie, la-di-da minds of turning off the shower, there is no book learning.
Sure there is. There's book learning. Just
What are you talking
take it all with a
about?
grain of salt.
I don't know. I'm
do you
scared,
know?
so I'm lashing out.
I'm doing it to save money because the shower uses the most water in your house by far for the most
There we
part.
go. There we go. See, don't take it as a selfless thing. Take it as a selfless.
Take it as a capitalist thing.
Take it
Don't
as
be a
me trying to
commie
earn a little
bastard.
extra cash.
Yeah. If every human thought that way, if we were just more capitalistic, then we would all be better.
All right,
Probably.
Ayn Rand. God.
Yeah.
Oh man, Ayn Rand.
There are
Don't
some
get-
legitimate points to that philosophy.
Sure, it's just the
Most of it
whole.
is not, though.
BioShock is
the
founded
sum
on
of its
Ayn
parts.
Rand.
What was?
BioShock.
Oh well, it was like, let's take that idea of a world and show how fucking beautifully awful it is.
The guy's
Once
name
I
is
get too into
Andrew
it.
Ryan. What more of a clue did you want?
Charlie has not experienced thee. We
Yeah,
can't
I've only
just
played the
spoil
demo.
it.
Well, his name comes
gosh.
up like 20 seconds into the game.
Who does?
Andrew Ryan?
Oh no, I understand. I'm not disagreeing with you. That game's storyline is completely focused on it. Like it's all about that. It just
Yeah,
shows
no,
how
I'm
that
not going to spoil
civilization
anything
goes
for you.
to
Don't worry
shite.
about it, guy. Don't worry.
Yeah, I mean, in one sense, I do want to read Ayn Rand's book, but on the other hand, I heard it's just an awful book to read.
Yeah, I've also heard that the point of reading it is like,
To tear it apart.
what? Yeah, it's terrible. It's real bad.
It's terrible.
Because, I mean, like, in college-level history classes, they teach you to read primary sources only.
yeah.
Read the stuff for yourself. Don't read someone else's interpretation of it.
Right.
Oh, like go read the science journals instead of
Yeah.
reading New York
Well,
Times.
my
version
God,
of
the
it.
newspapers
go
that
read
report
the
on
Fountainhead.
science.
Don't read what other people have said about the Fountainhead.
Yeah.
Would be
Newspapers that report on science journals are like the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life.
mine. What are?
And podcasts that report on science journals are even worse.
No, I think
newspapers-
They've got a little tact to them that I think some people will enjoy.
I love Inquiring Minds. Have you guys heard of that podcast?
No.
Oh, that's great. I mean, like a lot of the podcasts I've listened to, they basically, their podcast is they have two hosts, and then one of the hosts will go out and do an interview with someone in the science community. They can be studying whatever. But they do the interview, and then the two co-hosts will kind of talk about it after the viewers listen to the interview kind of thing. But it's really good when the interviewee is like a human being and doesn't talk science.
Yeah,
which
not
is
a dog.
awesome.
Yeah.
But when they're
The dog
like,
interviews are
science-
trash. You might as well not listen to those
Yeah.
episodes.
When the scientist is like really getting into the sciencey bits, it's fantastic. if you can understand it, but as someone who is like driving on the road and being an idiot and can't understand anything, like it's, you know, it can get to the point where my eyes kind of go cross-eyed.
Car
and just,
crash
you know,
inducing.
yeah,
Must
it's a little
kill
bit.
self to end
I would
monotony.
basically. I'll describe it as swervy. They get into the swervy points, then when it becomes swervy, like my car starts to swerve. That's when
That is the next
that's when it
song
gets-
and dance is the swervy right there, Kelsey. You got to do it. Andy,
The
write
swervy.
something.
I
Make
hate the
swervy.
fucking
Yeah.
youth
Yeah,
of
you're the-
America.
You're the song guy, Andy.
That's my-
Pander to the youth.
That's my That's my point. Is that I hate the fucking youth of America.
Well, you'll never be a successful song.
I'll never
person.
be a youth of America ever again either. I'll never
Yeah, those
connect
days are
with
behind
them.
me.
Picasso said something about the true artist is the child that doesn't die in the adult or something that is just butchered.
I just heard that the child doesn't die in
I just heard
adulterer.
the something murmur.
Yeah, like it's, you know, the artist is the child who didn't die as the, you know.
No, I
child
understand what
turned
you're
into an
saying.
adult.
The true artist is the one who's a child at heart.
I mean,
It
that's what
sees
they say
everything
about
like a child.
scientists, too. That's basically just a euphemism for ultimate passion or whatever. Not euphemism, but analogy to
Right.
being extremely passionate about something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
child.
don't let the passion get ground out by minimum wage and
stupidly
shit.
childish and passionate, like a child. is
Ground out
child
by
with it.
adults.
So when people disagree with you, you just scream and yell into, like, you know, walk into the wall. And
Blah, 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 blah.
There's some
man.
days it's a beautiful sort of emulsion, waking up and being like, God, I
An
fucking
emulsion?
hate humanity. What?
An emulsion?
Yeah. Oh, come on. Like, you've never heard that word?
Emotion, not emulsion.
No, emulsion.
Like eggs and oil together to make mayonnaise.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know how much it makes sense for what Andy is saying, but it's still a word.
No, an emulsion is when you mix two substances that shouldn't be mixed or can't be mixed.
Okay, I'm thinking of it in terms of food, like mixing eggs and oil.
I've never heard of that.
Sure.
That's how you make a
I've
mayonnaise.
definitely heard of emulsion in the food
Or
context.
like Caesar salad dressing, I think you make it
Yeah.
the same way.
The only time I've actually ever heard emulsion is in the context of food.
Yeah,
Alton Brown
me
talking
too.
about
Alton
emulsion-
Brown making
emulsing
mayonnaise, yep.
things. Yep.
Hold on, let me Google this.
Can I say
get
I love
this
Alton
right.
Brown?
Alton Brown is the best human being.
Just because like all the
essentially.
science on his cooking show just always made me freak
Yes.
out. It's great.
Yeah.
A fine
it is.
dispersion of
It's-
minute droplets of one liquid into another which is not soluble or miscible.
That's how you make mayonnaise, basically.
Yep. That's how you make good sauce.
Good sauce.
You gotta mix them liquids with the oils.
Fine. Anyways,
Hey, oh yeah.
what I was saying is you wake up and you just like you see that people are shitty and the media is just manipulating everyone who will listen to it, and you're like, God, people are so fucking despicable. And then you're walking down the street and you see a little kid with a bicycle and they're like,
Yep.
oh man, ice cream is the greatest thing in the world. I want to marry ice cream. And you're like, oh man, the world is such a good place. But
And the
fuck
color
media.
tone is warm, and there's a slight soundtrack of orchestral stuff going on,
Yeah.
and you're just like,
Blah, 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 blah.
yeah.
For me personally, I like to keep that kind of stuff simple and think that the media is the way it is just because that's what people actually enjoy and what they want.
Yeah.
Sort of
of course.
a Fahrenheit 451.
It's actually like just like a market, and like they're just doing what makes the most money because people like that the
Well,
most.
yeah, exactly,
It's
and that's
supply and
the
demand.
reason
It's
why
just
I'm like,
Yeah.
fucking
form.
people.
So I like to boil it down to everything. The problem with everything is just the people.
Well, that's kind of what Andy's saying.
That's what I'm
He's
saying.
kinda saying
Yeah,
he's saying
I
that
wake up and I'm like,
humanity is
fucking
just
the
a piece of
people
shit.
that
Oh, yeah, but
exist, you, me, all of us are terrible monsters. And then you look at and you see like kids and stuff, and they're not terrible monsters, and you're like, maybe
Right.
I could live a couple more
You're
years.
You're constantly
yeah.
drowning in the worst of humanity, and then you see a little glimpse of the best, and you're
Okay.
like, oh, it's worth
Yeah,
it
my
for
my,
that
my
glimpse.
point was that the media didn't just become that way. That's what the people actually like wanted to watch or whatever.
Oh,
and they just
yeah,
kept
no,
building
definitely.
on
Oh,
it.
yeah.
The media
Scare
was just
tactics
one
up the
example
ass.
because the media is the most direct and corrupted thing out
Yeah.
there.
Right. But so is everything around you, because that's the worst.
It's not. See those couch cushions? Those are fucking corrupt, man.
See that fucking tree? They're gonna rob us.
Yeah. Those trees, they'd sell you for spare
Or the
parts.
fucking skunk ape.
Yeah.
The light coming out that lamp is bullshit.
Yeah, that's bullshit light.
Yeah.
That's bullshit light.
It's nothing but shit.
Oh,
That's all it ever was.
I'd love to see a TV show called Kelsey Calls Bullshit or something. And it's just you see that light coming out of that lamp? That's bullshit. See those
That's
couch
just grinding
cushions?
my
Those are
gears.
bullshit.
You know what really grinds my gears?
Oh.
Did I Was it you guys that I told about the photon or whatever, the photon's life?
Oh, maybe.
Like-
You talked a lot of science in the last podcast, and most of it flew over my all of it flew over my head. But
Yeah, so basically with time dilation, if you go the speed of light, basically all of time happens instantly, if that makes any sense. So
Yeah,
for
it
the
does.
For the photon, as soon as it's made,
Right.
so say you're looking up in the night sky and you're looking at a star, those photons that are coming to your eye, the second they were made, in their reference frame, they instantly got absorbed into your retina.
Right.
I think that...
I think what you're saying is once you meet that, you're in the actual sense of the present.
Yeah, like
As opposed to
that
our
photon has no sense of time at all. Like
right.
the second
As opposed
it's
to our
created, it's
tentative
absorbed
sense of
into your
presence
eye.
that is only described in slight futures and slight pasts.
Yeah, I mean that's what's spiritual for me is all that kind of stuff, like how we're made in like.
It's not really spiritual
supernova.
though, is it? It's more
Well, just
scientific.
I don't know, but
It's just a way
it's
to
just
describe it,
cool,
I
just
think,
like the
is saying
fact that
spiritual.
like photon that's millions of light years away, like in its perspective, it gets to your retina instantly from the moment it's created because of time.
we have
dilation.
cameras that can not shoot at the speed of light, but we can see light like. What am I trying to? You know what I mean? Like we have cameras that can shoot at such high frame rates that we can flick a light on, and we can see different gradients of
Different
the light
stages
going
of
through the
light.
room.
Yeah, I've seen those before.
And that's kind of
Well, isn't
mind blowing
that
when you
neat?
see stuff like that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I'd love that shite, but
How
it's still like even at that high of a frame rate, it's still like choppy, you know,
Right,
just to
it's-
show you how fucking fast it is.
Yeah, I have no idea how any of that technology works either.
I still don't understand
What,
how
the
phones
cameras?
work. And I'm not being like funny. I still will never understand how phones work, but somebody else
What
does.
specific
That's all that
how they-
matters.
You mean how they transmit data?
Well, like how cell phones work.
It's just a computer.
Like calling people or like the computer that runs them?
Like the concept that you can talk to people and receive radio signals. I don't understand.
Yeah, I can't say I
don't
understand it,
how
but I mean,
walkie-talkies
well,
work
yeah, I
either.
mean, I guess like all those basic principles you learn in like a few physics classes. So I don't know.
I understand.
I feel
the
like I understand
principles,
all the
I just
basic
don't understand
principles.
what.
I was gonna sign up for a physics class, and I was looking at like all 10 of them on like the roster of signing up for classes, and every single one of them was like prerequisites, all the things that you haven't completed yet. And I'm like, oh, all right.
The
fucking awesome.
prerequisite of one was the other 9.
Yeah,
and it
well,
was
basically
such for
it was
the-
like
all 10 of them.
and the prerequisites they're not fucking like difficult classes. They're like basic math classes that I just still have not completed. I'm like, one day I'll be Neil, but
What a
boy, is that
deadbeat.
going to be a while.
At that rate, you might as well just be trying to be me.
Yeah. You
Right.
could be Neil, but you might as well just be Charlie.
Charlie.
Shut out.
That's your fancy name.
Shalal.
Charlie.
Hey, Charlie, did you take that picture with, and for viewers that can't see his Skype, it's on his Twitter. Did you take that photo with your DSLR? Because there's like some groovy depth of field.
Yeah, it was actually a mistake. I was trying to
Yeah.
record a vlog and I just accidentally pressed like the take
With
a
those
the
eyes?
take a picture.
Yeah, that's
fucking
what I was
kidding me
saying.
right
It's like,
now?
I know,
you've
like
taken
can
the
you believe that
perfect
when I saw
picture.
that picture, I was like, "Oh my god, how did this happen?"
God.
It was like
obviously.
I was recording the vlog, and like with my camera, you can take pictures while you're recording a video.
Right.
So I accidentally pressed that button. I was like, "Oh
Andy,
shit!"
if that's how he
I was
looks,
gonna say
when
it must
he
have been a
doesn't
really
mean to.
sexy vlog.
I think it was just because like I was just like leaning over in a weird way, trying to like focus on the camera and like figure out what was going on with it. And then
You
just
nailed it, buddy.
happened.
Yeah, you fucking
God
nailed
damn.
it,
I've
bud.
tried to recreate it, but I can't.
One day I'll come close.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Actually, I ended up putting that on my OkCupid. I don't know if I.
I don't know about you guys,
That's a
but
good one.
I'm the worst picture taker. I don't have
Oh,
any.
I think your Twitter one, Andy, is great.
I don't have
Yeah, I
any
told him that,
good,
too. I told him to make that as-
dimensions.
It makes you look like a fucking neckbeard hipster,
Yeah.
fucking Oregon
That
person.
describes
but
me
it's still great.
perfectly.
Yep.
What was I gonna say? Yeah,
Yeah, until you make me a pixely avatar, Andy, mine is just gonna be my stupid
dude,
face.
I love your
being-
stupid face. I was thinking about making a stupid face one for myself. I was like, oh my god,
Yeah.
he beat me to the punch, man.
Is this a vlog? Or
Yeah.
are we just talking? Or is this a podcast? Or are we just talking to each other now?
That's all. That's
what
all
we've
this
been
ever is supposed to
doing.
be. It's a fucking conversation.
All right.
Today on the podcast, we're going to be talking about specific news topics, so that when I edit this 2 weeks later, they're completely arbitrary and useless for anyone
John
listening.
is gonna tell us a little bit about his job as a delivery man. Is that right, John?
Yeah, that's right.
You deliver pizzas, don't you?
Yeah, I deliver pizzas.
All right, let's see how that goes.
So how is the experience of delivering pizza? Well, occasionally I get a man that invites me into his house and definitely clearly wants to rape me in some fashion.
Propositions me
But
for sexual acts that I just don't feel I'm ready for.
Right. But then I think of the movie Boogie Nights, and, you know, I think about how it turned out for Mark Wahlberg, and I usually let them do it.
This is the most upfront non-stoner pizza man in the world. He's got a news reporter voice. He's like, "Hey man, you want me on this show in 5 minutes?" Yeah. All right, I'm ready now.
Would you light one up?
I'm prepared with my radio voice to talk to you.
A guy did come with, like, a GoPro to our pizza place, and, like, I don't want to disclose everything because I'm a little bit still afraid of people murdering me.
Or watching this.
But, yeah.
Don't worry, Kelsey.
A little tiny bit.
Nobody's listening to this.
I know that. I know that. But I just mean in general. Right?
Oh,
you know, because
sure.
I'm sure I'm offending various amounts of people. But yeah, some guy came into our restaurant with a GoPro and he was filming random things. And he like came up to the counter and I was like, "So what are you filming that for?" He's like, "Oh, I'm a part of iHeartRadio, and that's like a thing around here. It's like a radio station type deal."
I've heard of that on
And,
Spotify.
Yeah.
And then they
They're
showed
pretty
people who
big,
were
I'm
on
sure.
it, and I said, "Fuck iHeartRadio."
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to be on another YouTube channel eventually, and then I'm going to have to find it and then comment on it like, "That's me."
Oh my god! I work at Panucci's Pizza. I have a channel. I swear to God.
So what were the keywords that you would type in to search that? Like ugly fucking kid?
Yep. Big-nosed, ugly,
Little douchebag
dirty
serves
blonde.
delicious pizzas.
Ugh.
Sounds like a weird, like, pornographic name, kind of.
Ugly fucking kid.
Oh, man. My ego's way too big for this to damage anything, so
Your
yeah.
just you have your
Big
freaking...
My
nose McGee.
ego is gastronomical. Doesn't that mean stomachs?
It is.
Yeah.
Astronomical. Ugh.
Do you need some pink fluid for that now?
That is going to be like the next pun deal at a $5 pizza joint. It's gastronomical.
Oh my God! Shut up, Kelsey. Take that. Use it. Run with it. Pitch it.
Gastronomical, do it.
I think the Little Caesars commercials are the fucking funniest besides, like,
No.
the Geico commercials. And I'm not a big
No.
TV watcher. Just my
Nobody
dad
thinks
has it on
that
all
the
the time.
Little Caesars commercials are funny.
I love
fucking
Little Caesars.
Are you
amazing.
shitting me?
The pizza or the pizza or the commercials?
The
pizza.
commercials.
Oh, the fucking pizza is garbage. I mean, it's the best $4 or $5
Oh, yeah,
by all
easily,
means.
sure.
Oh, it's good.
But it's
I
fucking
like it.
awful.
Yeah.
That's like saying shit is good because it's
Tombstone.
I don't even know.
It's good pizza. $4 or
Charlie,
$5.
you live in like Pizza Central,
Yeah,
and you ain't got
exactly.
no fucking taste.
All
for
my
pizza.
friends like Tombstone. I don't know
All
what the
my
hell you
friends
guys
are
are
doing
talking
it, so
about.
I figured I'd just get some Tombstone.
Well, I
as
guess
well.
we're not your friends because we fucking hate Tombstone.
Yeah, I guess not.
But I have a lot of good pizza restaurants around where I live, so I'm probably spoiled in
Me
that
too.
regard.
Yeah. Olive Garden.
I mean, my town doesn't particularly have any good pizza joints.
Oh my
Obviously.
Actually, no, that's a lie. There's like 4 pizza joints that just opened up downtown.
We can
I
tell
do
by the
like
way
how
you eat
pizzas-
Tombstone pizzas that there's obviously no good pizzas around.
It's
Yeah,
good.
you were enjoying the shit out of that, and me and Andy are just like, is this guy even real?
I love it. And it's shrink wrapped.
Part of me believes that he went and bought an actual good pizza to simulate the effects of eating good pizza,
Yeah.
and then just told us it was Tombstone because he's an asshole.
Back when we were talking about how shitty humans are, I was just gonna say because humans are so easy to like be deceived, and I think Charlie is the master of that because I think that's just what he did. I think Andy, you just broke it down perfectly. I think he went and bought a good pizza just so we would be perfectly deceived when he had those genuine groans of pleasure
Genuine
from eating
orgasms
Tombstone.
of pizza-tude.
Yeah.
Well, I like to keep
Pizza-gasms.
it simple.
Oh, I keep it simple.
It's true.
Which is why you eat Tombstone pizza made out of like 4,000 different ingredients and nitrates. And oh,
Who gives a shit?
I do, and you don't because
I
you
know
eat
I
that
do.
stuff.
You crazy non-pizza cultured swine.
I bet you
I
you're
like
not
New
even
New
York-
York, I
vegan.
like good New
We're
York City
American.
pizza
I
too.
bet
I'm
you
just
you're
saying
not even a
Tombstone is
vegan.
different and it's good for what it is.
Well, so is Little Caesars, but it's still shit. But me being able to say various restaurants that make food is shit is just, a very first world thing. Like, at least I get food.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That guy.
if I had like a really accessible, very good pizza shop around here, I would get at it. But like When I see frozen pizza, it's just like all I want is Tombstone. I don't want any other frozen pizza.
Okay.
I've never been through the frozen pizza aisle in a long time, but
Neither have I.
I'm a spoiled cunt, so
One of my
there you go.
friends and I were having a discussion about how third world countries would view like eating contests and stuff,
Yeah.
and it was a pretty
Man
amazing.
versus food.
Like you take all the food and you just shove it in your mouth until we throw up, until you reject how much food you've already eaten. Yeah, until we throw up and we got like buckets and we get a prize for consuming the most unnecessary calories. And then what do you do with the leftovers? Oh, I don't know. We throw them away or something.
Throw them away
It's
into
like-
landfill,
it's
of
like
course.
having a survivor.
What is a landfill? Oh, it's like when you have too much of something. Too much? Yeah, when you have too
What's
much
too
of
much
something,
mean?
you just throw it in this big pile of shit, and then I don't know
Too
what
much,
happens
like
to
the
it.
word
And
we
you
used
build
to
a
describe
playground on top
flies.
of it later.
What?
What?
I didn't hear what you said.
I said too much, like the word that we used to describe flies.
Yeah, poor Ethiopian kids.
It's like having the game show Survivor on like a deserted island or something. It's like
Yeah.
the native people are like, "Can we have some food?" It's like, "Oh no, this is a game show for us. We're having fun."
Yeah.
Yeah.
American
Yeah.
decadence is real.
That was a Joe Rogan thing, I'm pretty sure. It's like American like people are so fucked that we make shows where we go and have fun surviving.
Yeah,
Like,
we have fun
like,
living
that's what we
like
do.
other people.
Yeah.
And if anything,
Yeah.
if anything gets too real, though, there's like, no, worry, don't worry.
Safety nets
We've
up the
got an
ass.
entire cheese pizza just for you. You don't have to eat
Yeah.
ants anymore. I'm
like
sorry we did
Survivor
this
Man.
to you.
Survivor Man's legit because he doesn't even have like a cast, or not like a cast, but he doesn't have like a crew that follows him.
Yeah.
Like Man vs. Wild, he does, and Bear Grylls is he's the
I
cool
was
piss
gonna
drinker
say,
of us
who-
all.
I mean,
But
he
isn't
never
in
on his
love
like,
with Bear
on,
Grylls.
on Man vs. Wild. He never claimed to like actually be like surviving though, did he?
No, he was
No,
more
he's
of just like a tips
teacher.
and tricks
Like,
Yeah,
guy.
he just
if you
showed
get
you
into
what
a
to do.
situation like this,
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah, do this
Right, I was never trying to
outlandish,
discount
ridiculous thing.
I just mean like Survivor Man's is just balling in my opinion. 'Cause
Yeah,
he's
I'm not
like,
saying I don't like Survivor Man. I'm just trying to make a point.
Yeah. No, they
Because
are.
I remember
they
when
are
people were
kinda
like,
different.
"Oh Man vs. Wild, he stayed at a hotel." I'm like, do you care? Like that's
Yeah, that
I
was
never
one of
got
the
the
things that I was saying,
impersonation
is
that
like,
he was trying to survive
Why?
out there.
You want to watch him sleep for 8 hours?
Yeah,
Speaking of
I
television,
just like Survivor Man. Go ahead.
I'm sure neither of you watch television. I don't know if I watch television. I watch like
I wouldn't if I had better internet.
I watch Netflix, which I guess is technically television, right?
No,
No, we don't
No.
say that. Okay, then I
I
don't,
don't
watch
think so.
television.
It's video on demand. It's what's
my-
destroying television, and I love every second
Yeah,
of
but
it.
things that are on television are on Netflix. Where do you draw the
well,
distinction?
It's because it's video on demand, which you choose and you can do whatever you want with, and then
Oh, I see what you're
broadcasted television is just always running
I
24/7.
see.
You can DVR shit, but literally DVR is the bridge in between video on demand and television.
So you're
video,
saying-
video on demand is the future.
I gotcha.
TV is completely becoming obsolete.
Well,
You guys continue with this conversation, but I think we should bring up net neutrality afterwards.
okay, sure.
I wish I know more
What
about
I was
that.
going to
I know
say
such
was
little.
there is a network on television called TLC.
Yep.
And it stands for the Learning Channel.
At least
We
it
don't
used to. I
talk
don't think
about
they go by that
TLC.
anymore.
All it seems to be is exploitation of the lower class.
I mean,
Oh,
they
it
had a
is.
show about frickin' Sarah Palin on there. There's nothing to learn from that.
No, I'm pretty sure TLC has gone full KFC in that it's an acronym that isn't an acronym.
Yeah,
It's not
it
even an
doesn't-
acronym.
it
It's just an
doesn't
abbreviation.
mean anything anymore.
But it doesn't abbreviate
Yeah,
for anything. It's just letters.
acronym is something you could say, and abbreviations just
Right.
letters.
Yeah,
Right.
I knew that because of Neil Tyson.
Yep, me too. I
Oh
saw
my
that
god,
on a
please
podcast.
shut up. I'm trying to make a point here. Have you seen any of the shows on TLC?
It's
amazing.
garbage.
Well, they're
Yeah,
advertised
it's
every
absolute
fucking 30
trash.
seconds.
It's
Yeah,
amazing.
oh, I mean, I don't even know if I can say enjoy it, but like Cox and Krendor, they always talk about reality shows because Krendor watches a fucking shitload of reality TV, and I think it's funny because they pick it apart and just like they say how absurd it all is. But it's complete trash. It's literally just what's the word for it? They're taking these families and completely exploiting them in like every which way possible.
Well, yeah,
and
that's what I was saying.
you can
It's
argue they're
exploitation of
ruining
the
the-
lower class.
yeah, that's what they're doing, and it's trash because of it. I mean, if the market demands it, they'll supply it.
Exactly.
So there's like,
And then everyone's like,
whatever,
"Oh,
we
I
can-
want to be on that show and get rich and famous."
Yeah,
Of the
it's
shows that I know of, there's the one about the mothers who force their children into beauty
the pageants?
because
Oh,
Yeah.
God, that's so fucked.
It's just every single
it's a
reality
cornucopia of
television
psychological
show.
disorders.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's the one where the people are addicted to various things like eating toilet paper or eating plastic and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely absurd things.
Yeah. All
probably
again
don't-
psychological disorders.
Well, I think what defines like reality television is there's the somewhat good stuff. Like, I mean, I was gonna say Dirty Jobs, but I don't think anyone thinks that's reality television.
No, I would say
but
it's
there's the
more like a
line.
documentary.
Yeah, no. I love Dirty Jobs. I'm not saying I don't like it. I fucking love Dirty Jobs. But there's the reality television that claims to be raw and unedited,
like
and really
Big
it's
Brother,
just
Jersey
bullshit.
Shore.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah, it's just bullshit
Gotcha.
scripted. Everything is
yeah.
you know,
Like it was scripted, but what they recorded, they didn't edit or whatever.
Yeah. It's just retarded in every which way. And then there's the reality television that like actually claims to be scripted and edited in some way. Like there's a really good show on.
I mean, that's
Man
like The
vs. Wild
Apprentice
and
or
Dirty
something
Jobs.
like that.
I mean, I guess that's kind of what I'm talking about, but I meant more like there are some reality television shows like it's called it's the one where they have drug abusers and then they try to
Drugs Inc.
not drugs
No,
Inc. They actually
rehabilitation.
rehabilitation.
Intervention?
It's called intervention. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
It's intervention and
Isn't that on TLC too?
no, it's on AMC. It's AE is what it's
Oh,
on.
A&E.
If they are still making
Gotcha.
yeah, A&E, right?
Arts
A&E.
and
And
entertainment.
Is that
yeah,
what it is?
that is like is it arts and entertainment?
I think
Look,
so.
like, let's not try to talk about what the abbreviations are for.
Let's try
because
not to
they don't
talk
even-
up these reality shows.
MTV.
Yeah, I just mean because they don't put it on the fucking channel. Like in my mind, if you don't put it on the channel, like AMC, TLC, all that shit.
Yeah,
like if you don't
we live
put
in
it
the
on,
era of the abbreviation.
yeah, we live in the era of
TNT.
abbreviations that mean fucking nothing. Right, TNT. Like what does that even mean? It's
BBW.
Turner Small or
Dynamite.
something. But
Okay, no one got that good.
I was just saying, fucking intervention is cool because for the most part, it definitely they either do it really well or it seems really unscripted, and I like to think that most of it is unscripted. There are some parts where it's like, okay, did you put this person in this situation like purposefully, like to make it go in a way that it really wouldn't?
Yeah.
But for the most part, that show is a reality television show that doesn't seem totally exploitative because it's actually trying to solve a problem. And I also really enjoy when they do like the white on black text after the show, like the person eventually relapsed completely and is still using drugs to this day. Like I like when they're realistic about it.
Like
Like we tried to
Hoarders?
help, but this person is fucked. Yeah, like Hoarders probably.
Yeah, that's kind of like
Yeah,
MTV.
like Hoarders probably. I don't know.
I just don't watch
No,
them
sure,
to
yeah.
know, but
It's similar to like MTV True Life. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Sounds like
I
trash.
just know that was a show that my sister would loved and I just can't.
You shouldn't have started it with MTV.
No, that show was actually pretty good.
Okay. Have you
What
ever,
show?
Have you ever heard of a
MTV
little
True
show
Life.
called Amish Mafia?
Oh my god, I remember
Oh,
seeing
Jesus.
commercials for that.
It might be the
Yeah.
greatest show
All
on the
these
face
shows-
of the planet.
I've only seen the commercials for like every show of like the stupid reality thing, so I can only judge it based off of that. But I still think that that's perfectly enough
Oh, yeah.
to come to
Easily.
a like well realized opinion of it.
If
It's
it
just
wasn't
fucking
shit, maybe
Gabbage.
you'd have.
cabbage.
If it wasn't
Yeah, I mean-
complete shit, maybe you'd have to back up those claims. But
Yeah, I mean, I've now realized just talking this conversation that I pretty much don't watch TV anymore except
No,
for
neither
like
do I.
hockey
Yeah.
games.
I literally only watch it. Yeah,
I
no,
watch
don't. I just
shitloads of
don't.
Netflix though. Like 90% of my life, there's Netflix on because I enjoy background noise.
Yeah, people do that while they sleep, and it's just like, dude, you're not gonna sleep
No.
that way.
Yeah, I think
No,
we
but like
talked
when I'm
about
washing
that.
dishes or cooking dinner.
Oh yeah, I actually got into I guess I could only say like one audiobook binge. Like the only time I've ever really listened to audiobooks, I was doing the entire Harry Potter series because I had never read the books, and that seriously made chores seem like a fun thing because it's like
Yeah.
I don't want to listen to an audiobook when I'm playing video games or something
Right.
like that. So I'll go do something productive and enjoy the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
Like
The weird thing is,
sweeping the
I-
house, doing dishes has never been more fun.
I can't listen to like serious stuff or like semi-serious stuff like dramas, action stuff. The only stuff I can listen to is like Bob's Burgers,
Lighthearted
American
bullshit.
Dad, Family Guy,
Yeah,
just
Yeah.
stupid shit like that.
because you can go in and out of it. and
Right,
still
I can
enjoy
just
it.
go in
Yeah,
and out,
the
and then if
serious
a
stuff
part
you're gonna
comes up that I
miss
really enjoy, I can stop what I'm
everything.
doing.
Well, audiobooks, I guess that's true because audiobooks are like they have that issue where you can go in and out of it and you just won't get as much out of the story as if you were to read the book because reading is something that you have to put in, whereas an audiobook is just like TV. It just
TV
passively
you don't
goes
get
by.
to
But,
see.
do you guys like read actively a lot?
Not
I wish
fiction.
I did.
If I'm like not in a good state of mind and I'm reading a book, I will actually space out while reading the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
fucking
definitely.
annoying.
Oh yeah. You mean where you're actually like your eyes are going line by line.
Yeah, and then
you're
I'm like a
you're
page later, I'm
passively-
like, I did not
Yep.
read any of that.
Your eyes are going
Yep.
by
Oh, that
line
happens
by
to
line.
me
You're
every
like,
single time I
wonder
read.
if Megan's still single.
Yeah, you kind of have to like
Yeah.
get warmed up and get into it before you can focus on it completely.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think the longest book I read recently, it was like probably 4 years ago in high school, was The Shining, and
You
I had.
son of a bitch.
Oh no, I'm not even trying to go down that road
Here's
right now.
Johnny.
But I did. I read it after the movie, like after I had seen the movie, but I wasn't such a Kubrick like I wasn't such a
phobe?
Kubrick dude. I wasn't not wording correctly there, but I didn't
A Kubrick
like
file.
his. Jesus, yeah, sure, a file.
Kubrick
Like
file.
There you go.
Anyways, what I'm trying to say is I didn't
Kubrick.
remember the movie that much, which allowed my imagination to go in places that if I had recently seen the movie, I probably wouldn't have gotten much out of the book.
Sure.
And I would genuinely say I enjoyed the story of the book way more than the movie story.
Okay,
but
so is that book like a lot more longer and elaborate than the movie?
I
oh,
believe
in
so,
every
yeah.
which way.
Okay, because
And- but it-
for the Red Dragon, like the
Hannibal Lecter series.
yeah, the Red Dragon book is exactly
Oh.
the same as the movie. There's nothing else extra in that book, almost.
oh, really?
Yeah, I was disappointed
Huh.
by that thoroughly.
That's
Wow.
not typical from what I remember
How does-
from books.
It's a pretty short
How
book.
does-
It's only 300 some pages.
Oh, I was gonna say because how would a fucking 2-hour movie ever get through a book? But if it's a short book, then that makes a lot
Like
of
there,
sense.
yeah, I mean there really wasn't much extra. I'm hoping
Must have been a
Silence of the
good
Lambs is a
script
lot
writing
more
process.
elaborate or something.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because there was a movie made before Silence of the Lambs.
No, there wasn't.
Silence of the Lambs was the first movie made, but
Yeah.
it was the second book in the series.
Okay.
Put the
Yeah,
fucking
that's
lotion
fantastic.
down.
Yeah, you got the same urge I did.
Yep.
God, now I just want to watch Silence of the Lambs.
We should have a movie night.
Oh, there. Let me link you this fucking amazing video done by this YouTuber. That's he goes by the name of Every Frame a Painting, and that's his.
A movie night? Are we gonna watch a
channel?
movie on Skype or
well,
something?
yeah. Well,
No.
somebody
I
will
want to
put-
link you to this.
Somebody will put it
I
up
wanna
on
link you to this
Skype, and we'll just all get popcorn and sit around and watch together.
Put
Well, I'm telling the viewers in case they want to know. But it's a really this guy goes through movies and he makes like 5-minute videos about what the movie does right, or at least one aspect of what it does right.
Oh.
And this video will make you enjoy the movie way, way, way more.
I like the guy who does what's wrong with the movies.
Oh yeah, CinemaSins.
Well,
Yeah, he does one
Yeah.
for like the movie Volcano, and I just crack up at that one.
oh yeah, he did one for Gravity, which is I think the only time I have ever watched the CinemaSins, and it's like what is it like 60 things wrong or 60 things they did wrong with the
Yeah.
movie, and then he just like ding 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 ding
Yeah.
ding like goes off of them.
They did it for
Yeah,
Hunt for
I-
October too, and I enjoyed that.
A lot of them are stupid like bullshit things though. That
Yeah.
Yeah.
completely-
Well, it's entertainment. It's
reasonable.
not
yeah. It's
Oh, I
supposed
know.
to be funny.
review.
Well, the Every Frame a Painting one is definitely made to be educational more than
Oh,
entertaining,
sure.
which is awesome. As like a guy that wants to be a filmmaker, it's like yes, discuss and analyze the film. But
I'm
it's
just
good and
imagining you
quick.
wearing like that French red and white striped shirt with a beret and a twirly mustache. Like, nah, make
I'm
it
just
better like that,
Waldo.
Shane. Nah.
Yeah,
just
and
fucking
a
Waldo.
thick, like Chicago's 1930s accent.
Andy, you always making stuff. Make a Photoshop of Kelsey looking like that in that avatar.
Hey Andy, you're always making shit. Why don't you do that?
Andy, you're always existing, aren't you? Why don't you do it?
Why don't you do something with that existence you got lying around the
Why
house
don't you be
once in a
productive,
while?
you schmuck?
Oh my god, this is how we started the last podcast. It's like,
That has to
You're
be our
just a
intro.
schmuck and
That thing has to be our intro.
yeah, that was a fantastic.
What was I gonna say?
We didn't do a fun intro bit though for this one.
No,
We
that
just
has to be
got
the intro
into
for
it.
all of our podcasts,
Oh, just
or at least
just
the first season or something.
No, I won't make that. Every intro has to be unique. Otherwise, you just, I don't know. To me, that's like bullshit.
Becomes banal.
yeah,
banal.
it becomes stupid. Stupid.
Oh,
I
you
still
gonna
want to
take my name Bane and make it Banal, I see.
I still want to license this.
That's the stupidest thing I ever heard, and I love it.
I get no enjoyment from this.
Oh
The only point of my existence on this show is to try to get Andy to laugh like that. And I succeeded. Ugh.
Oh my god. That's one of those, like, it's not meta humor and it's not anti-humor. It's just like deconstructionist schizophrenic clusterfuck humor that I love.
I'm glad you think.
You just love your schizophrenic shit.
I'm glad you
don't
think that way, Sanitary Claus.
Because it's relatable.
It's relatable, yeah.
Oh, you think
You
you can make my
schizo.
name Bernal?
Just because you're just such a clusterfuck.
Oh, thank you.
I had something I wanted to say. You just completely
I
eradicated
laughed you
it
out of
from
your
me.
state of
Yeah.
mind.
Things. What were we talking about?
It's the best.
Books.
No idea.
Numbers and
I have
stuff.
no
Kelsey.
idea. Yeah.
Because of you, I actually stopped watching a movie because the direction behind it was just so god awful.
Oh my god, I've actually subversed into your movie watching process. I feel so happy with
until
myself.
I started having long, drawn-out, dumb conversations with you about how minor things in movies
What
should
you
become.
thought was dumb
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say with yourself.
at the
I
time.
started paying attention more to the direction. I was watching some, I forgot what movie it was, but it was,
That YouTube channel will
what?
make you way more.
I'm not going, I
Like-
can't go down the rabbit hole any further. I already hate 90% of movies out there.
Yeah. It'll become like 0.4% that you like.
Well, I was watching the movie and the direction was just so shitty. It was like a bad
Of the
horror
actors?
movie. No, the actual camera direction.
Oh, the motivation, like the camera movement.
Right. It was just,
Yeah.
it was so bad I couldn't even get through it. And it's the first time I think
Yeah.
in my entire life that I've ever just stopped watching a movie and just had no interest to pick it back up again. Oh,
Yeah, I
On
agree with that.
on the topic of that,
I mean,
I watched another movie that I think is like right up your alley, except not at all.
love that. Good.
It's
That's what I like.
It's called what is it called? I think it's called Banshee Chapter. Banshee, like the screaming. Yeah, those things. I could do that horrifying scream that you all hate, but I don't.
Oh,
Which
God.
one is that?
The Andy Banshee. Jesus. Oh my god. That's gonna fuck the compression.
I
of the
hope
cast.
it
Daniel,
does.
for
I hope
saving
it
me from
fucks it
that
up.
pterodactyl.
Yeah, it's called Banshee Chapter, and
Okay.
it's really weird.
I'm gonna completely forget about it and then I'll re-listen
Probably.
to the
Well,
podcast.
it has a
and when I'm
lot to
doing that,
do
I'll
with like
listen to it.
alternate dimensions superimposed on our dimensions.
Okay.
It's a
Okay.
horror
so
movie.
BioShock
though.
Infinity. Okay.
But the reason I liked it, and then the reason I
So okay, what you're saying is it's a little Twilight Zone-y.
a little bit, yeah. I
Okay,
I read a review for it, and the review just completely
Worst
tore
thing
it
you can
to
do.
shit because the review's like they abandoned the point of view camera when it's not like convenient for them. And I was like, good. There's no reason for a fucking woman to be running for her life carrying around a huge ass fucking camera when she's running from a monster. That doesn't make any sense. So basically,
Oh, you mean they did that thing that they did in like District 9 or whatever, where they did like the documentary style, but then halfway through the movie it just gets cinematic and like
no, it's
third
cinematic
person
unless
cinematic
the
style?
characters are using a camera.
right.
Then it
then it
goes
becomes
into
Blair
the
Witch.
camera. But when they're not
Okay.
using a camera, it goes back to like detailed
The cinematic
cinematics.
thing.
But the reviewer
Yeah.
was like, they only abandon the the POV when it gets convenient for them. I was
Yeah.
like, that's what you should do. There's
Yeah,
no
I
reason
totally-
to see somebody
yeah.
carry a camera like, finally I climbed this mountain. Now to drag my
I
camera up
hated.
here.
Oh man, I hated Cloverfield because of that. They tried to do
Oh,
like the
yeah.
whole thing. Oh, it was fucking awful.
Yeah.
Like I totally agree with you 100%, and that's what they did in District 9.
Right.
Is they
I
did
love
that,
that movie.
documentary. That's a fucking just. I cannot wait for the sequel that will never be made.
Yeah, exactly.
But I love how they did that. What you're describing is you use the POV in the tense, cool moments where it should be, and then you fuck it when it doesn't need to be there. Like why not?
Fuck it.
That's
Fuck it.
that's camera direction 101. Use it when it needs to
Yeah.
be there, and then
Jeez,
fuck it.
come on.
Is it
Yeah,
true
fuck
that
it,
if you
okay?
don't
You
use
just
it,
say you fuck it.
lose it?
Yeah.
Was that a serious question? No.
No.
Jesus.
But it's not the greatest horror movie I've ever seen, but it's not bad. So it at least is survivable long enough to watch it for the other stuff that it's trying to put out. And Charlie will like this. The main character, one of the main characters, is the Ted Levine, I think his name is, who plays Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs.
Put the fucking lotion in the
Put
basket.
the fucking lotion in the basket.
He doesn't even say it like that.
Yes, he does.
He doesn't say like put the lotion.
It might be a little bit of a caricature, but it's basically.
Yeah,
what
it's
it
a
sounds.
He
rough
says, "It puts the lotion
bastardization
on
of how
its
he
No,
sounds.
he says it in a feminine voice. Then he gets pissed off. He's like, "Put the fucking lotion in the basket."
Basket.
Yeah, I don't even know, man.
Would you fuck
I haven't
me?
seen that movie in a little while.
I'd fuck me. I'd fuck me hard.
Oh, Jesus.
Let's all
Goodbye,
just relive the
Jose.
worst scenes from all the movies. Woo!
Just a little-
There's a nice scream you can
Well-
throw in whenever you want.
Just another fantastic podcast done by the LDR crew. Thank you guys so much for listening. And
I thought you were thanking us
Yeah.
for being here.
Yeah, I was like,
I was gonna.
we're part of
I
the
was
show, aren't we?
You guys should be like, wee, like party time and stuff like that. Yeah, there we go.
You're welcome.
Oh my
I
god.
charge by the hour.
Guys, thank you so much for being on the podcast that you're in charge of as well. So it's a little awkward for me to say that.
Yeah, that is awkward. I agree. Just go back to thanking the listeners.
Thank you, listeners.
Vaja
Good.
Storovia.
Whatever he said.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking weirdo. All right.
I like that
That'll
ending.
work.
That's why I stopped talking,
All right.
is because I wanted that to be the way. Fucking weirdo.